And we're live.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Stolen Fires. I'm your game master, Mike Leader, and we're here to play some Fringeworthy tonight, a role-playing game about traveling through infinite Earths on a quest to save humanity. Well, hopefully.
Or
First, let's
ourselves.
ourselves in this case. First, let's introduce our players and their characters. So we'll go Chloe, Bob, Brennan, and Leslie.
Hello, I am Chloe. I am playing Lola, aka Lady Platinum, a graffiti artist from New York who is definitely not prepared for what we ran into at the end of last session.
And I'm Bob. I'm playing Chewy Flores, the mechanic car thief driver who's woefully unprepared for adventures in outer space.
Hi, I'm Brannon. I'll be playing Sadie Miller. Before she decided to explore other alternate Earths, Sadie was a successful professional MMA fighter and expected exactly this, was totally prepared for exactly what happened, completely ready.
And I am Leslie. I am playing Captain Cassidy Wagner, who is a mechanical engineer pilot turned NASA astronaut trainee, and maybe should have paid more attention in her Girl Scout meetings.
All right. Okay, great. So, Brandon, why don't you recap us from last time?
Oh, sure. So, at the beginning of last session, we were already on a big platform that had lots of different gates for us to go through, and we had explored some of them, but we still had, I think, 5 more to go. And we decided to explore them all in succession without going too far afield from any one of them. So when we went through the first gate, number 3, we found a large circular chamber, and then followed a tunnel from that outside and found that it was at the top of a tall waterfall. And listening to the radio, we discovered that we are probably in Venezuela in that gate. We also saw that there were 2 moons, which we hadn't seen before from our other excursions through the previous gates. We found a crashed plane and some paperwork in it, but that just confirmed that we were probably in Venezuela. We backed out, went through portal number 4. We found ourselves in a train station in Sydney, Australia. It was the middle of the night, so there was nobody there. So we scouted around and got a magazine, a newspaper, some brochures, things like that we thought might be useful to us later. Through gate number 5, we found an open grassy area with a white stone building a distance away, and we heard a bell that we never figured out what it came from. We didn't think that the truck from the team we're looking for could have navigated that area, so we decided to back out again and go to the next gate. Through number 6, we found a rainforest, and because it was evening there, we estimate it could be Africa, but we can't be sure. And through gate number 7, we were in a grassland. There were some low buildings not far off, and there wasn't a platform there, but there was knee-deep water. And again, we didn't think our team that we're looking for, we didn't think their truck could have gone this way because the water was probably not navigable for them. It looked like a farm. And then we went through gate number 8. Oh, gate number 8, the gate that we wish we had never gone through. And through that gate, we found a desert, a flat, packed rocky desert, not like sand dunes, but more of a flat desert. And we saw something glinting in the distance. So after a return through the gate to the platform to discuss, we decided we should explore at least as far as the thing we could see in the distance and see what it was. And we discovered that it was the truck that we were looking for of our team that had been lost, which was great. We did discover that there was one corpse in the truck, so one of our team members was lost. But sadly, when we returned to the gate, it did not work. And during the time we were there, while we were walking out to the truck, there was a small earthquake, which we didn't really connect to anything at the time. But yeah, when we got back to the gate, it didn't work. And so we all panicked and were fearful, and we're still panicked and fearful. And there have been a number of small earthquakes since then, as we discussed what we were going to do and what we think is going to happen, where we should go. And then just before we ended last session, a I don't know. You can describe it to us again so everyone can remember. Something came out of the ground.
I'll re-describe the end of last session. So another earthquake hits. This one's incredibly large where you're at, and all of a sudden the truck from far away, you see it explode. Well, not catch on fire, explode, but blow right out of the trench it was in, and flip over and land on its actually land on the tires, which was nice. But what was not nice was what came out after it. This massive worm-like thing that was probably 2 yards wide at the front, and it made some kind of sound, and it looked like it was coming for where you were all were at, and that's where we left last week. But it was very plainly obvious what it was. It wasn't. It was pretty. It wasn't far away, but it wasn't close either. So, as we start, and thank you for the recap, Brandon. I'd like for you all to make me sanity checks because you've never seen something like this before.
I've
So
seen the
you-
movie Tremors.
It's
It's a
not the same-
masterpiece.
It's not the same when it's in front of you,
Oh, I don't know.
unfortunately.
I feel like the dinosaur story got me pretty well prepared for this. Where's I actually am not sure what that means. Make a sanity check. I don't have a
All right.
stat for sanity here.
You
Oh,
have a
there it
s-
is.
You have a stat percentage on the second page of your sheet.
Yeah, there it is. Oh, that's not a very high number,
Is this a
Mike.
roll? Is this a roll under?
Just roll under that.
Yep.
Let's
Oh,
see. I got a
easy.
really good sanity.
Yep. Pretty good sanity.
I think Chloe's got this in the bank. In the bank.
Oh,
I got I gotta
Um,
roll under, huh?
I rolled a 99, which is,
That's a
fumble.
fail.
Do I change?
Okay. Let's see what we got
okay.
here. So Chloe rolled a fail. That's technically a fumble.
How's
Better not.
everyone else doing on this?
I rolled a 91.
That's just a
Wow,
fail.
I rolled a 28 and I got a 65, so I
Yep.
made it easily.
I failed but not spectacularly
Oh,
as my
wow.
teammates did.
Okay,
Just barely.
I will burn 12 power points to bump it up to a success.
Okay, sure, you do that.
The rest of I have no
not-
expendable power points anymore.
Yeah. I'm not gonna do that.
Chewie
And
spent
it's
his
probably a
childhood watching
mistake.
horror movies with his mom, so
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, so how standard loss works is, I'm going to make you roll the total because I'm mean like that.
Yeah, I'm going to let this happen because I'm curious what happens.
Roll 1d3.
Oh, all right.
Whoops.
You can't. I don't think you can roll a d3. You can roll a d6. Just roll a d6 divided by 2.
I can't roll d3. Roll d6 divided by 2. That's
I have rolled 2. So I lose 2 sanity points. Is that what I gather?
you lose 2 sanity points. Now the deal with sanity, which I'll explain once Leslie's got her done.
I gotta not be silly and type things, right? I rolled a 1.
Okay, so you lose 1, you lose 2. All right, so on your sheet, which I will have to pull up to explain, your temporary sanity score, which is not filled out technically, is half your sanity. So I believe this is in Leslie's case, you have a 60 sanity.
Mm-hmm.
Your temporary sanity score will be 30. And whenever you take sanity damage according over your TTS, your temporary sanity score, you're gonna develop some form of temporary insanity. But until then, these points do not just go away. They're gone for a while, but they can be regained. Sanity is regained through counseling or actually destroying a cause of sanity loss. Some drugs can help, and some self-improvement can help too. But sanity will just wear down over time. So yeah, if you've got psychotherapy as a skill, you can definitely help your friends. If you don't, drugs are your way to solving things, apparently. Does that make sense?
Alcohol is a drug. This all makes sense.
So those of you who made sanity, congratulations. You weren't terrified by this, but you react as you want. Those of you who failed your sanity roll, you're definitely afraid of this thing, and you're welcome to react as such.
Okay. So we lose the number that we rolled from our temporary value.
Your total value of sanity. So for example, your sanity is what's your sanity total?
50.
All right, so you now have 48 sanity.
Oh, so I have
Oh.
48 and my temporary is now 24?
Your temporary is half your maximum.
Okay. But my current is not, okay. I'll figure this
We're-
out later.
We're
Your
gonna have to
temper-
do some journaling later.
It's the
Mhm.
way it's described in the book, and I hate that. It's temporary. Temporary. It's TTS is temporary, right? Make sure I'm reading this correctly and not a moron. Which I can be a moron. I'm totally fine about that. Let's see. TTS.
I mean, it isn't critical to figure it out
TIS,
right now because I'm
temporary
not running
insanity
out.
score. And let's see. You made your roll. Blah blah blah. Okay.
All right, let's.
Character loses sanity equal to or greater than their TIS in a 5-minute period. They go temporarily insane.
Ah! Certifiably wacko.
As that's going to change over time. And yeah, actually, it does change over time. So your temporary sanity is fallen to a lower score.
Several fries short of a Happy Meal.
So Leslie, you lost 1 point. So now
Just
your temporary sanity is 29. Temporary insanity score is 29. Those are going to change. So
Okay.
your chances of crossing your temporary insanity score is pretty good after a short amount of time of losing sanity points. But you're not going to go crazy instantly. It's an after effect of things like Call of Cthulhu, where sanity is really important, and you lose awful amounts of sanity at once. Here, not so crazy. Well, yet. All right, so back to the quote unquote action. What are you all doing about this giant worm that's come out of the rift that's about 200 yards away?
I get my rifle off my back and get it ready. Are we we're standing right by the portal, right?
Yep, I believe you were all sitting down at the time.
Okay. Is there a platform here or a ramp?
Nope, it's a warp like you experienced in the alleyway,
Just dirt.
and
that's
also
terrible.
warp like it was in the trees.
Is there rock? Is there
Yeah.
any rock or anything near us? Like, are there something we can get on that's more solid than sand?
The ground is not sand. Remember, ground is hard packed, blasted dirt.
Okay,
It's not really sand. This is not a
It's-
sandy desert.
It's clay.
but it's still dirt. It's not rock.
It's not rock, no.
But there isn't any rock around here also.
Not where you're at, no. You can see hills in the distance past where the worm is. You really have
Can
investigated the direction. It's kind of
I-
empty.
could
Yes.
I do some kind of perception? I want to see, like, is it seeing us? Is this a tremor swarm? Is it actually, feeling our tremors? Is it like something else completely? What's
Oh,
it seem to be reacting to?
You're kind of far away. If you're curious, you can get closer. Otherwise, you can make it at a penalty.
I mean, does it seem like it's coming towards us, or is it just chilling?
Well, it just came out of the ground, so you don't know what it's doing. But I tell you what, you've got.
And it's still 200 yards off, so I feel like we could wait a minute and see what happens.
You can make me an insight roll, Chloe, and it would be at half. So I think it's 25% for you.
Yeah, I'll try it. Yeah, I don't know things about worms. I'm not a wormologist, it turns out.
Between me going, oh my God, this giant worm, to like, well, I don't know if it's coming at us or not. Well, it's far away, so you really can't read it that well. But it reared up out of the ground when the truck flew, and it's kind of come down onto the ground, and it's doing the worm sense as it's looking around. You pray to God it doesn't have eyes.
It's doing the worm. It's definitely a dance. Oh, look, it got us a truck.
So
That truck just flipped in the air twice and came down on its tires. It's probably not doing so well.
I'm sure it's fine.
it's a Chevy. It was never doing well.
I can.
It's better than the truck we have right now. So,
But it is better than no truck, I guess. Yes.
all right.
Okay, so Brandon, Sadie's got her rifle out. Lola's trying to figure out what the creature's up to. What are Cassidy and Chewie doing?
Chewie is running the opposite direction of the monster.
Okay, so you get up off the ground and you run back past where the portal was.
Yes.
Okay,
The monster is in front of us. I turn around and I run the opposite direction.
I test the portal's still not working. Portal's
You
still
reach
not
back,
working.
nothing happens. You're sitting on the ground, don't forget. So Chewie isn't really get very far.
Oh yeah.
You reach, guess you reach back, there's still nothing there.
They didn't teach us how to fight giant worms in basic. I would probably get to my feet, but I don't know that I'd necessarily move anywhere. More to prepare to take action.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you're waiting to see what it does. And Sadie's not shooting. Sadie's waiting to shoot until it gets closer, correct?
Yeah, she got up onto her feet when she got her rifle off her back, but no, she's not moving, and she's kind of waiting to see what it does. It's so far away right now. You know, I don't want to shoot at it and waste ammo if it's just going to like run off.
You better hope it doesn't run anywhere.
You mean, yeah, if it runs, that means it has legs.
Then it's not a worm.
That's not a worm, then it's a lizard.
I already made my sanity check. I'm ready for it.
Okay, so at that point, the wormish thing settles on a direction, which is kind of pointed towards you guys, and lurches out of the rift, and it moves about 20 or so yards with one push. This thing is massive. It's probably 60 feet long.
All right, so it's slithering across the ground.
It literally did the worm hump and moved across and shoved itself across the dirt.
There's no
And-
way we can outrun it. Like it's moving much faster than we could run. it
Yeah,
sounds like.
that's also be terrifying when I'm making a sanity roll. You should understand that's dangerous.
I shoot it.
Meanwhile, meanwhile, Chewie is gone. You
Yep.
guys noticed that Chewie just turned and ran. You shoot it. You're gonna use just a single shot, or are you gonna just unload on it?
Oh no, I'm going to flip the selector to auto fire, and I'm going to fire 4 bullets at it.
If you fail the auto fire roll, you lose your entire clip.
Is that a rule? I don't recall
That's the rule. If you look at what you posted earlier.
that. That's not what that rule says. But I'm not going to
believe
fail
so.
that roll because my roll is in fact over 100 when I add the auto fire bonus.
Well,
So I think I'm okay.
auto fire can empty the whole clip.
Yeah, if you choose to the whole clip as the number of bullets you fire.
Okay, fair enough. I'll agree to that.
Where's my firearms roll? I haven't had to roll this yet, so I forgot what the number is. All right, here it is. Let me make a roll. Let's find out how shooting things works in this game.
All right, so 40% to your total. You shouldn't miss this.
I shouldn't miss this. That's totally true. Hopefully I can get a good shot. I've rolled a 58, which is a solid hit. And then I'll have to roll for number of bullets that strike. Oops, if I can type correctly. I have rolled a 4 out of 4, so I have struck it with 4 bullets.
Ooh.
Okay.
And each bullet, if I recall correctly, will do, I want to say 2 die plus 2. Let me look at my gear sheet.
Yeah, it's 2 dice plus 1, I believe, actually.
M4 carbine, 2 die plus 2.
Oh, plus 2, my bad.
Ammo 30, so let me mark off some ammo here. 4
I'm glad
shots.
someone knows what they're doing.
Pew pew.
And by the way, those of you standing right next to her, that gun's really loud.
Yeah.
It is.
I
in
don't think I
fact.
have eardrums anymore, though. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean it's designed to be used in combat by soldiers who are not necessarily wearing ear protection. So
Yeah, you were trained on them, but they trained you with with ear protection.
yeah, fortunately we're
It's
not
okay,
inside a building. That's
We'll
also a
just
good
we'll
deal.
just go back in the portal and it'll fix our ears.
Maybe
That's
it
how it
will. We
works.
don't know.
Oh, it's true.
I was led to believe that's how it works.
Let's see.
Okay,
2d6 plus 2. I guess I'll have to roll these individually because it probably has some kind of thing.
I wouldn't trust it to do it
All
separately.
right, here it comes. Oh, how does that work?
Yep,
Can I not-
don't put the plus on it. You just have to do manually.
Oh, I see. Well, that's not a very good dice roller.
It's
Guys,
not
I
perfect.
can't roll 2 die 6. How does that work?
What?
You can only roll a single die? That's weird.
Try 2 space D6.
Oh, okay, I'll try that.
Oh, no, just kidding. It says right there, size and then number of dice.
So it'd be
Oh.
D6 2.
D6 2. Okay. Well, all right. We learn something new every day. All right. The first bullet will do 12 points.
Okay.
The second bullet will do, wow, 13 points. The third bullet will do 10 points. And the fourth bullet will do 9 points.
Okay.
Wrap.
And so you fire it, you know you hit it, and it's still coming. It seems to ignore what you did.
Well, all right then.
I'm not gonna roll. We're not gonna do initiative. It's just it's real simple what's gonna happen. So, okay.
We're all gonna die. That's what's gonna happen.
You know what? I think Chewie had the right idea here.
Good statement.
Delaying the inevitable.
Okay, so Brandon got the shot off. Chloe,
I
what
don't
is
have to
Lola
be faster than it. I just have to be faster than you guys.
Chloe, you
It's
say that
true.
is Lola running?
Yeah, Lola's running now.
Yep.
Bucket.
And Sadie will turn to turn around to Cassie and say, "Run!"
Yeah, I wouldn't notice that didn't do anything, and knowing what that gun does, I would is GTFO.
Okay. All right. So you take off. Lola takes off. Chewie is actually a good. Let's see, already good. Probably about just shy of 100 feet away at that point. After Sadie fired a gun, and just as everyone takes off and runs, Sadie hears a familiar hum from right behind her.
Oh, Sadie doesn't run.
I know
Sadie-
you haven't
Sadie is
run.
sta-
You have. I know you haven't run. You're standing around. That's why you hear it. You hear a familiar hum from right behind you where you're standing.
I jump
Just a second.
backward.
And you go through the portal. You guys just have to turn and look back, and Sadie's gone.
The
You can-
portal!
You can see the halo. You can see the halo of the rainbow effect.
The portal! The portal!
Oh.
The portal!
Oh shit!
The question is, can you get back there in time before the worm gets there?
I'm gonna fucking try.
Yeah, gonna try.
I'm gonna run. I ate my Wheaties this morning. Okay.
So now, Lola and Cassidy shouldn't be a problem if you get back. You just turned and ran basically about 40 feet at this point. So you can get back in your next action. The worm will probably there soon. It's Chewie who has to push his ass to get back there.
Shit.
So I think Bob is going to make us. Let's see. Physical rolls. No roll for running. So I'm going to have you make me a stamina check.
Stamina check.
I think yours.
Oh,
is
okay.
70.
Yeah, he's pretty good. He can do this.
But if you make the roll, you're gonna take more damage to that fancy stat, which I'm blanking on. My brain won't shut. Fatigue.
I rolled a 15.
All right, great. You're gonna take 2 points of fatigue damage, and
All right.
you get back to the portal. You jump, and the other two have made it. You run back through, touch there where the portal was on your side. You touch it, and you go through. And Chewie has to run and jump because it's very Chewie-like to do so. And
I'm
he
flying through.
literally comes flying through the portal past you guys.
Oh my god. Oh, sweet Jesus. Oh. Now we know what happened to Team 3.
Yeah.
Sort of.
You know. How about we head back to our Earth and regroup?
Maybe they can give us a tank or an attack helicopter to deal with the giant worm.
Sadie puts her rifle back on her back and looks absolutely radiant. This was why I came.
I think I look at Sadie and I'm like, that was a good shot.
Well, it was pretty big. It was hard to miss it.
So okay, so it likes trucks, and I got 20 pounds of C4 in the truck.
Hey, wait, you like
So-
trucks. It likes
so-
trucks.
So I could get, we could put 20 pounds of C4 in the Humvee, drive the Humvee out there, and then blow it up.
But
Well,
then
we
we don't
don't-
have a Humvee.
Yeah, and also we don't have to because it's over there and we're not.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Plus, there's probably just like more of them, so just blow one up. That's, you know.
So
Make them mad. Then their mom will come beat us up.
do we think it ate the rest of Team 3?
Well, I don't know, but I think whoever just said we should go home and regroup was 100% right, because we have a lot of information. Like, we've learned what's through all of these portals on this Earth, and we should probably go home and tell somebody before something happens to us, right? And then at least whoever comes after would have more information. There's no
Also,
reason we don't have to stay out for 3 months, right? We can go home anytime we want.
I know it's only a
Yeah.
2-hour drive away.
Yeah. Plus, we can get some more supplies that we decided we didn't need. We needed, like a history book. And,
Yeah, now we know where we're going, so we could get all the stuff we need to like go to Sydney, Australia in 1949 and look like we belong there, right?
and some clothes. Yeah, we need some clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And a tripod.
and a tripod.
And a
You have a shopping list, I guess.
yeah,
We took some
Um,
notes.
some Coleman propane lanterns.
Yes.
Although I don't know if the lumens will work because those are radioactive and I don't know what'll happen when they go through the portal. I guess we get to find out. Mike gets to decide.
Oh, Mike already knows the answer to that question.
All
I
right,
just
so we
I
pack
just
up.
remembered now about that radioactivity thing.
Don't forget, you haven't explored everything. You've explored the portals on this Earth, but there is the alternate platform you had to go through to get here that you haven't explored yet. So that's just as a reminder.
Yeah, but it's literally, it's like half a day to go back, and the information is very valuable.
Yes. Yes.
We're the only ones who can get it, so we may as well go give it up.
Have we determined that time on the other Earths is passing at the same amount of time when we are walking through the portals? Or
Yeah, you figured that out last week. as
Okay.
You were doing time math and realized that when you went through, it matched up with where you were on the planet.
Yeah, I'd say we
You may
could.
not have been 100% sure where Wilson City was, but
It feels
We
like we
know
could
within
come back and go through, but like we'll just fall into some crevice like their truck did.
Well, if there's anything worth exploring on that planet, I don't think it's in through Portal 8.
Yeah.
It'd just be kind of nice to find out what happened to Team 3. Like, did they get eaten by the worm, or did they like find civilization? And maybe they're
What would
trapped
be
someplace, or
what would be great is if we could take like a helicopter.
who will give us a helicopter? Do I know how to?
I don't know how to fly a helicopter, but you work for NASA. You must know how to fly a helicopter.
yeah, you're in the Air
You-
Force.
you grew up flying
But
jets. Flying a helicopter is totally different.
I fly planes. The
Could
helicopters
we,
are different.
could
You
we-
need a coastie to fly a helicopter.
No.
I'm
no.
sure you can pick it up fast.
Yeah. Could we fly an airplane through the portal?
Yeah. I mean, we could literally bring a small airplane like that one we found, and because the portal's totally
but not
big
the
enough.
one we found. That one's
Well, no, not
gross.
that one. But we could bring one on a trailer and then drive it through the portal. I mean,
Yep, you'd have to take it apart to get it through the portal. Remember, the portal's only the large portals are 50 feet wide. The smaller ones are only 25 feet wide.
yeah. I mean, that's a lot of stuff, but I don't know. But anyway, let's break camp and we'll spend the half a day driving home. Maybe we'll run into some more goo. Actually, I'm really curious if the goo that hit us before is still there.
Oh,
Or if
is
it,
my
like-
bag of goo still a bag of goo?
It's just an empty bag.
Hmm.
You sealed it. There's nothing in it.
Did you take the bag through the portal?
No. Well, no, because it would have been on the big truck, and we haven't taken the big truck through any portals, right?
We
Since
have to
got
when we change
glued on.
when we change platforms. We drive the truck through the portal through the
Yeah.
big portal.
Yeah. maybe
No,
it
but
doesn't.
you still had it when you moved to the alternate platform. When you came through, you were on the main pathway between alternates. You got that. You went through the alternate platform, and you still had it.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
But now it's
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah, nothing in the bag.
So as we go home, the things that we want to look for are like we spray painted the platforms in different places on our
Mhm.
way. Did they clean themselves up? And I think
You-
also we left like chapstick and some other things on the path to see if it would be cleaned up later.
We were
You
dirty
mentioned
little
that.
Americans.
You mentioned that you point to where Lola marked the floor of the platform up, and whatever she wrote is very faded at this point.
So it'll
Not a,
eventually go away.
it's not a bright color, but it's faded.
It seems like maybe time passes faster. I
I
don't
think
think
it's
faster or
I think they're self-cleaning is what
Yeah.
it seems like to me. Because they were perfectly clean, like everywhere we looked, and they've been around forever. So it feels like somebody would have marked them up at some point, right?
Maybe there's a cleanup
But
crew.
but
Yeah.
I think
Alien
I think
janitors.
Maybe little
yeah,
robots come
they
out and
clean
clean everything
themselves.
up after us.
But what I'm
Little
wondering
Wallies.
is, do they clean themselves up of debris? Like if you leave stuff on them, does it disappear or get thrown off the path at some, every day, like throws everything off that's on it or something? I don't know.
Oh,
we
your
had
truck is still here.
chapstick before, so we'll see if that remained.
Yeah.
Where did you leave it?
I think
think
just
we
on
were-
one of the platforms on our way.
Yeah,
When we were Hansel and Greteling it.
That's where you left stuff on the alternate platform, on the pathway, on the other alternate platform. Just the test. I remember now. Okay, so you're gonna pack everything up
Yep.
and drive the truck and the Humvee back. Well,
Yes.
the Humvee attached to the truck on a hitch. All right, so you turn around and you make the 160 odd mile trip back. You pull into the alternate portal. You can see the chapstick still sitting on the ground.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, that's good. to know.
The marks that Lola left with the spray paint are gone.
All right. So if we're going to leave something on the platform, like we need to come up with a physical thing to leave, like we would leave a note or
We need surveyor's tape and
yeah, but like
stakes.
or maybe I don't think you could stake anything, but we could carry like weights. So you could put down a piece of paper with a weight on it,
Is
or
well,
like we could carry whiteboards.
is the platform magnetic?
No, it is not.
Oh, okay, that's too bad. But yeah, then what we should do is we should have them make us some message capsules that are like a canister, right? That are hermetically sealed, and we put our notes inside that, and then they're heavy, and they would sit here and wait, and then when somebody comes, they could find it behind us, right?
It's a great idea. That's probably easy. They could probably just make those at the base.
Pringles could make them for us.
I mean,
Yeah,
you
those
could
cans don't go away.
you
Little
could just
Pringle
use
cans everywhere.
you could
Oh,
use
we sound like
like
Americans.
just a plumbing tube or something.
Yeah, there'd just be a pipe with a cap on each side.
Yeah.
But they'd probably make us something nicer than that. And
You're
maybe
asking the military to make that?
yeah, if they really
Be
wanted to, like they could
So
$900.
Pringles will
put a combo lock on it. Like we could actually have a lock on it, and then only people who knew the combo could open it. Then only other people from Earth.
Yeah, but I mean,
why don't
we
we
get
just go
notes.
to the Target and get a flat of mason jars?
Sure.
All right.
So I assume when we get home, the base is on fire or is just missing.
Nope. You get home, you get to back to the main platform, which still has stuff on it from when they push stuff out to you. Are you leaving the truck on the platform, or are you just driving it through?
I think we drive it through.
Yeah, we're gonna have to load new stuff on the truck.
Well, we should walk through first. I mean, did they make it clear to us they were going to leave the room empty for us
No,
to drive?
it's a military base. It's not going to be empty.
Yeah, so we should go through and make sure there's room for the truck before we drive it through. I think
All right.
they didn't give us any rules, so we'll make a rule now when we go through.
Well, that sounds fair. Who's
All
going
right.
through?
So you drive it, you step through. It's still the same base. Everyone looks shocked that you arrived, and a couple of MPs run off to get assistance. There are 3 techs, and they're like, come here. Well, we want to make sure and check you just in case.
Okay.
Do my ears feel better?
No,
Mm.
they're still a little sore.
Yeah, we'll get some shooting earplugs.
Yeah, as I say, adding earplugs to the list.
Yeah, the electronic kind, so they're like a filter. You can
Oh
still
Like
hear
the
through
electronic
yeah,
kind,
yeah.
which
We
you
could
just
get
look right
ComSat.
on the portals.
We should get ComSat headsets that are both.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
no, that's not going to work because the
Yeah,
batteries
it's
are gonna-
batteries. We're just gonna need like little rubber
Yeah,
earpieces, I
yeah.
guess.
The little
S-
foam, guys.
I remember
Yeah.
thinking earlier we should
100
get
of them for
ComSat
$5.
ComSats, but that doesn't help because batteries. So, damn it. Okay.
All right.
All
So,
right. So we will eventually go retrieve the vehicles and bring them back through.
okay. In the meantime, they're asking you guys to go into quarantine for a day or so, just to make certain. Even though they think the portal cleans everything, they got to check and make certain.
Yeah.
I'm
I don't know
not
how they would know that
complaining
for
about
sure.
about resting.
Oh, Chewie's ready for some rest. He's got some fatigue. He's looking forward to laying down on a cot in an isolated room, and reading a couple of copies of
I mean,
Modern Tuner magazine. Well,
technically, you guys were gone for a day.
it was a long day. I
Yeah, I
did a
don't
lot of
think we
running
took a
in
rest.
the desert.
Yo,
Did we?
No, we did. It was more than a day because we stayed overnight at least
That's
one.
true.
Yeah.
It's a
place.
day and a half.
We
you
had
guys were
one
gone.
rest.
yeah, I think it's been 2 or 3 days.
Nope. No, it's you guys slept one night and you haven't slept since.
I'm gonna sleep.
So sleep time.
So you
Yeah.
guys are resting in quarantine, and Sergeant Yates comes in full quarantine suit. Just sorry, we have protocols. And you guys were only gone for 2 days. What happened?
So
learned a lot.
so it went like this, right? So
Just sit back, watch.
we went to portal. We went to -1, and it's a big portal just like this one, right? And we said, hey, you know what we should do? We should just pick a portal and go through and find out what's going on. So we went through a portal, and yeah, so we went through the first portal, and there was we were in the forest. And we're like, hey, wow, this is really cool. So we wandered around a little bit. We checked it out. It's a really nice little forest. And then I got the bright idea. I said, hey, you know what would be good? Let's turn on the radio. So turn on the radio, and there was music, jazz music. It was pretty cool. And then so we got an antenna. We set up a big antenna, and we listened to we listened to radio for a while. And there was all kinds of radio from Europe. And there was English music, and there was like Belgian music, and there was like French and German music, right? And we're like, oh wow, this is pretty cool. And we found out from the radio that it's 1949, and that the Germans were out there, and then there was also the ESS and something else. And we were a little bit confused. And then we said, well, let's check some of the other portals and see where they goes. So check
She's
some other
giving
portals.
Chewie side eye
Yeah.
at this point. So
And we go, somebody goes through one of the portals, and it's like a city. And we're like, oh wow, this is really cool. Let's see if we can find some papers or something. And then a guy shows up and threatens to shoot her. And so she jumps back through the portal. We say, let's not go back there. So we then go to the next one, and the next one we find we're on a mountain, and in the mountain there's an airplane, but it's crashed. And so we check the airplane, and there's a dead guy in there. He was kind of freaky, and there's a snake, but I didn't touch the snake. And then let's see, and there were some papers, and the airplane crashed in the 1930s, and we're pretty sure it's 1949. And we listen to the radio again, and there's some Spanish music, but not a whole lot else. And we go, okay, well, we can't go anywhere from here. So then we go, and we just said we're going to check a whole bunch of the portals all at once. And we're looking for Team 3. So we check portal, and we find like some farmlands, and we find a forest and from buildings, but no sign of Team 3. Then we finally get to the last portal. We go to the last portal, and we're in a desert, and it's crazy hot. Oh, so hot. Like, I mean, I'm from Arizona, and it's still hot. So, but we see something. We see what looks like a truck. So we're like, okay, let's go. This could be Team 3. So we go to look at the truck, and there's an earthquake. And then we're like, well, let's go check the portal. And we go back, and the portal's gone. Oh my God, what are we gonna do? So we panic, and then we calm down, and we say, okay, let's check the truck. So we go check the truck. It's the truck. It's Team 3's truck, and one of the members of Team 3 is inside, but they're not alive anymore, and they're kind of old, and so we're like, oh well, this is bad, and we don't have the portal. We don't know how to get back, and we only know how to get to. We only know where Cumberland locations are. One's in Australia. That's a long ways because we think we're in North America, and then so then we're trying to figure out what to do, and a giant tremor worm comes up out of the earth and attacks us, and I ran, and Sadie, she shot at it, and nothing happened, and then the portal turned on, so we jumped to the portal, we came back.
I
Crazy,
vote that
huh?
we put Chewie in charge of debriefs.
So, that was kind of quick after 1949. So I'm gonna go have to go listen to the recording we're making, just to. And so, and you did you think you hallucinated this giant worm, or were you sure it's for real?
It was
Oh
there.
no, we
No,
absolutely saw it. It was
we all
it
saw
was
it. It was
some
the
kind of
same.
giant.
Yep.
It was maybe it wasn't a worm. It looked more like a snake once it got out of the ground because it slithered at us.
Like you're
But,
sending us through a magic portal that you can't even see. I don't know why this is what
Tremor
the
monster.
holdup.
I
Oh,
just
and
had to take
you
notes.
forgot about Australia. One of the portals went to a train station in Sydney, Australia,
Oh yeah, we brought some stuff back from there.
and we brought a lot of literature back from the train station because it was the middle of the night. But the other thing is that that's a perfect place for us to go through and actually go wander around and explore. But we need some things because we didn't have any clothes or anything to wear that would let us not draw attention to ourselves. So that's on our list of things that we wanted to get. We have a whole list of things we realize that we probably need before we go back out there. But that would be, I think, where we should go through again and see what we can find.
Okay, and just to check, you went through on the prime world like ours. You didn't investigate the alternates from nearby, correct?
Correct.
Okay, make sure you investigate this next time you're out. All right. So, well, why don't you guys work on your list? You're gonna stay in this. You're gonna stay in quarantine. She's still in quarantine. Stay in quarantine for at least another 24 hours. But as far as we can tell, no radiation like we thought from the portal. You all seem to be in decent health. No one seems to be sick, which is good. So, bonus there. Why don't you make a list of what you gathered so we can go through it? And
Here you go.
and well, no, hold on to it. Hold on to it.
Okay,
Everything
but see,
bagged
I
and tagged.
labeled where it's from, what it is, when we got it. So I'm a scientist.
Also, we can, if you want, we can sit down with a couple of historians. We can bring down here to talk to you if that helps. You said it was 1949 on that world you were on.
France
Yeah,
had a king.
but it was different 1949. Yeah, the Socialist States of America, and there was another polity that had a 3-letter abbreviation that I wrote down, but I can't remember off the top of my head. And then, of course, France had a king, and Germany had just signed some kind of thing. It was pretty. It
With the
seemed like
Brazilian Empire.
It felt like World War II hadn't happened. Oh, they also mentioned the Japanese Empire.
Mm-hmm.
So the Japanese were still an empire at that point. So it feels like things are really different.
That's interesting. We've only experienced the alternate platform here, which has the one Victorian style world. We know we can go back in time, sort of, but it wasn't the same. So it appears that kind of sticks with the idea of the worlds being different but similar. How odd. Okay, good to know. So make some notes. We can provide a historian to answer your questions in the next 24, 48 hours, and get your rest. We'll get some food sent in through the dispenser in the wall, and get some rest. With that, are there any questions for me before I go?
I guess we'll need to sit down and write a more detailed account of exactly what happened, because I think there's a lot
There's
more
some
to
pictures in here to develop, but there's only 9,
Yeah.
so I don't know if we should do that yet.
Hold
there's
on to
no
that for
harm
now.
in.
I'm sure they can get us another roll of film.
Yeah, they could get
just
another roll.
Go
of
ahead
film.
and develop it.
I think the other thing was we forgot to talk about the goo storm.
Yeah, there was
Oh,
a
a
goo
goo storm.
rainstorm. It fell on
Yeah.
my arm. It stung a little bit.
Yeah, there was some kind of weirdly gloppy precipitation on the Fringe Road.
I put it in
Oh.
this bag, but it's gone now.
Yeah, it seems to evaporate after a while.
Like that. We'll take your camera. We'll take all your documents. Fantastic. Anything else we should be taking with us?
One of the worlds had 2 moons. It had 2 moons. The place
two
had
Oh
2
gosh,
moons.
yes, we forgot
Oh,
about
yeah.
2 moons. It did have 2 moons. That was weird.
Interesting. Okay.
That's what I
There's
mean
a
by we
picture
should
of the
sit down
2
and write it all
moons
down.
on the picture in the pictures.
Okay, well, great. We'll have this everything looked at, and In the meantime, you all get some well-needed rest, apparently. I've only gone for 2 days. That's crazy. I didn't say that. She leaves, you guys to your own devices. There's not much for you guys to do over the next 24 hours or so, but eat and sleep, unless you guys want to do something like record what you were talking about, or write down questions you have for historians and things like that.
So we still have all the paperwork. She didn't take it from us.
No, she took the camera and the bag you handed her.
Oh, the empty bag.
Empty bag.
I want to read through the magazine.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Well,
I
on the cover.
Also, before I read, I want to look at the front page of the magazine and see if it like actually says Sydney, if it says Sydney, Australia, or like Sydney something else.
Sure. The front cover is in color. The rest of the magazine, of course, not in color. But it's a beautiful picture of what looks to be a king and a queen who you don't necessarily know, but they're dressed in royal regalia. And it mentions it's Look magazine, Commonwealth of Australia. Lists 2 days for the day you guys were there, so May 29th, 1949. And front page mentions the king and queen coming to visit, and more details on that inside.
What are the king and queen's names?
George and Elizabeth. Hey, I had to do my history for this game, so don't look at me like that. It's the one thing in the world I was trained for.
George and Elizabeth.
Otherwise, the magazine talks about them coming with high security because they're expecting rebellious elements from and worries about the SSA probably targeting them while they're here because of strife between the newly minted United States of Europe and the problems with the SSA and their massive military and their current, also the SSA's new alliance with the Empire of Japan. That's a great concern to the Commonwealth of Australia as well as to the great nation of China. They speak of China quite well in this magazine, actually, as a trade partner who's willing to grow with people and yada yada yada. Let's see.
Do I realize that George and Elizabeth, that King George should be dead by now, by 49?
You can make me a history roll if you'd like.
Is that world history? I have that.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, I failed.
Yeah, you're not quite sure.
Well, we'll have a historian talking to us soon enough, and I'm pretty sure they'll call that out.
Does the newspaper have anything about the SSA being terrorists?
No, it's more focused on trade deals with China and the fact that the king and queen have come to visit to further bolster Australia's growth. And also in the paper and the magazine, there are big deals about their Aborigines receiving the right to vote. And there is definitely some flack on one side, but it seems to be very small about them getting the right to vote.
And I would have no clue when that.
Well, it references the hope to help work with the Aboriginal people to work with the lush interior of Australia for benefit for everybody who lives there now.
All right. So
I'm gonna move down. So what is Lola doing with the time down?
I think after taking a good long rest, I think she is probably she's probably practicing her sewing. I think that's the thing that she's going to want to be able to do during the downtime to help get us prepped for different areas that we're going into.
Okay, that's great. Bob, what is Chewie doing outside of the amazing catch-up rant?
So Chewie is going to prepare a proper kit for going through the gate going forward. He's also going to go on Amazon and order a whole bunch of books. Specifically, he wants the Dummy's Guide to World History, um, the Dummy's Guide to Geography, um, and maybe a few other big yellow books about.
Great. Make me a list.
All right.
All right. And Brandon, what is Sadie doing with her downtime?
Writing. She's writing down as much as she can, everything she can remember about what happened. So she's basically keeping a, diary, journal, because she expects that she'll want to remember all this stuff later.
Okay. So you're journaling. All right. So you guys get plenty of rest. About 30 odd hours go by in the course of the next day or so, and eventually Sergeant Yates comes in and says, "We'd like," or so Lieutenant Yates comes in and says, "You go ahead. You can be removed from quarantine. Come on with me. Let's sit you down, find out what you think you need to go back out, and who you want to talk to before you leave." I mean, you guys have got full. You have full trust from this organization, and so even the general who's not here right now, I spoke to him this morning, and he says to give you full help as far as we can do, as far as we've got here, and they can be here in time. He wants to get you back out there as soon as possible, so it's really important that we do that. So let's sit down, talk about what you need. We have a historian here from the university from it's Paraguay, from the University of my brain is shut off. Spain City, Paraguay. Anyway, University in Paraguay who's able to answer some of your questions. Maybe we haven't got else here in the meantime, but we're trying to make that happen for future notice. Didn't even think about that one. That's a good one to do. Anyway, so how do you want to proceed? You want to make a list? You want to talk about what you need, and we can get you in touch with the story. Who wants to handle what, and how do you want to do this? I'm not going to direct you.
Well, I think I've probably been writing down my own list that
Yeah,
I
I
can
also wrote down a list.
that we can compile
you guys
together.
can discuss this out of character if you want. The list out of
Okay.
character.
So we know that we want a tripod.
Oh, I looked up at the notes and what all we needed.
Okay.
So we need some history books. We need an almanac. We need gold and silver rings for trading. So like just like wedding rings type of thing you'd find at a pawn shop. Generic non-period clothing like linen pants and shirts. A tripod.
Well,
Language phrase books for like every possible language we could think of. Earplugs. Those things we've got listed from the
I definitely think if we can talk to a seamstress specifically to get clothes that would have been what people were wearing in 49.
Oh yeah, if we're going back there, then we should
Hmm.
get period appropriate clothes. But like we should have on hand non-period specific clothes. So like if we go through a portal and it's 1440 or something, right? Then we've got clothes that aren't going to stick out. So like basic linen pants, leather boots, and linen shirts.
Yeah.
Are kind of the type of thing that would be worn anywhere for the last couple thousand years.
Yep, also a sewing kit because that way I can
Yeah.
tailor things to us as we go.
But yeah, if we're going to go back through these portals and explore this place, then we should get period appropriate clothing, maybe even see if we can get forged paperwork. Or
Yeah, I don't see how we do that without knowing
Yeah,
what the governments are there.
it'd be hard. Well,
Yeah.
we could here it, and again, this is all non-Chewy stuff. Like Chewy wouldn't think of this stuff, but we've got a whole network of specialists apparently at our beck and call. So we don't have to have American paperwork. We could have like New Zealand paperwork or something that people aren't going to recognize easily, and then we could pass ourselves off as, oh, we're Kiwis, right? And in 1949, most people aren't going to do a whole lot of questioning. They're not going to know what a Kiwi passport looks like.
Yeah,
So
I mean, we do know that like Venezuela exists,
yeah,
for example.
yep.
Well, we know that, yeah.
But also, I
Yeah, I
think we
mean,
should stay out of North America because one, it's infested with giant worms, and two, they don't seem to like brown people there. And at least half of us are brown. So yeah, but Europe might be a good idea. We've got the portal to in near Essen, and
yeah. Well, plus we could. So here's the real the elephant in the room. Do we want to go after Team 3?
I would
Do we
want
think?
I would want somebody to go after me.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, do we think
Do we,
we can
do
come
we,
up with a way to go after them without? I mean, how could we get across that desert with all those giant snake monsters on it? Could we do that?
Motorcycles.
uh,
We need
maybe
we need three. We need four Honda motorcycles.
dirt bikes.
Dirt bikes. Yeah.
We only found one body in there.
Yep. There's three more.
Um,
Dirt bikes have kick starts, so they don't need batteries. Like we could literally jump through the gate
Why do you think the motorcycles would be better than driving the giant truck?
because as we saw, it attacked the existing truck. But if all
yeah, but
four
our
of us are
truck's
on
bigger than theirs.
all, that
Yeah,
just
well,
that
I
just
don't
makes a
know.
bigger that just makes a bigger target. I'm thinking four of us each on motorcycles. If the tremor monster comes, we split up. They're also smaller. They'll probably be less of a target for it, and they move really fast over desert terrain. Unlike that Humvee that's only going to get like 30, 40 miles over rough terrain. And if we fall into a rut like they did, the truck's screwed. But if we have to ditch a motorcycle, we just get somebody else on one.
I feel like if that giant hole in the ground opened up in front of your motorcycle, you'd just be killed.
Yeah, but then only one of us gets killed, and not all four of us.
Well, I mean, I think if that fissure opened in front of our big truck, it might immobilize the truck, maybe, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure that it would because it's a pretty big truck with lots of wheels.
Are we talking about taking
And
the Ural? Because the Ural's not going to cross that desert at any speed.
really, because it's just flat, baked dirt earth. I
Yeah,
mean,
but
I don't see any reason why you couldn't drive anything
oh,
across it.
the truck will cross it. It's not going to cross it quickly. So the monster will attack us.
Do you think the monster could really do anything to the truck?
It's 60 feet long.
Was it? Was it that big?
It was
Yeah, it's like
huge.
6 feet wide. It was pretty big,
Huge
yeah.
and terrifying.
And it was fast.
Yep.
So I mean, it could catch the truck.
It
I
would
don't
catch
know.
the truck easily. It could probably catch the Humvee, but dirt bikes, no way it's going to catch a dirt bike.
What if we go to a different gate and get ourselves to the location where we think gate 8 is without actually going through gate 8? Because we
Well,
assume if they got out, they
That's
would
the
have
other-
gotten out of the desert. Otherwise, they're all dead.
That's another
Maybe.
thing, is going through gate 8 is risky because it might turn off again.
Well, here's something. This I just thought of this. They did this on. They told us this at the beginning during training. Somebody went out to the platform that goes to all different planets, and they threw a giant radio transmitter through the gate, and then they could hear it from elsewhere and knew where it was on Mars or something,
Oh, yeah.
right? Yeah, so we could take some kind of transmitter and throw it through gate 8, and we wouldn't have to go through the gate, but we could go through another gate and maybe we could hear it. Does that work?
You probably couldn't throw it through. It has to have a battery attached to it, and the battery wouldn't be charged.
Well,
to the gate.
we'd make it solar charged. So we do it like solar panels on it so it could charge up, right? We'd have to have somebody build something, right? But to recover a team of Fringeworthy, they'll build anything we tell them to build.
Yeah,
because
that's
that's
a good
very
point.
valuable.
Fringeworthy are probably the single most valuable thing on the planet right now, and there's potentially three of them somewhere in that world. Not only are they valuable to us, they're also valuable to whoever's on that other side, because the last thing we want is dirty fucking commie Nazi slavers coming through the portal and fucking our shit up.
That does seem
Okay, well,
bad.
here's the question. Like, I don't know how radios work all that much. But let's say we were them and we're stuck on that planet hoping that someone will come save us. Like what would we do?
Oh,
Try
did
and
they?
get someone's
That's
attention?
no, that's a great question.
Yeah.
We would, well, so Mike,
Do we
we'll
have a
ask.
list of what they took?
Yeah, did they have radios? Would we know what to listen for?
They did have radios and like the radios you guys took. But other than that, they didn't know what designations they would be using if they were using those radios.
Okay.
Right, but they would have some kind of channel that we would know that they would be broadcasting on if they were in trouble or talking to us, right? There's got to be something for that.
You could assume, but again, you don't know what they were using since
I mean,
they
it's
they were
something.
doing their own thing. You
Yeah.
could try that.
But we should establish that as our standard operating procedure going
I'll-
forward.
I'll put that on the SOP list. Have
Yeah.
a standard radio frequency.
Standard for radio frequency that we transmit in like Morse code or something. So some sort of standardized communication method.
Yeah,
on-
codes for like being in distress or
Yeah.
codes for don't come here.
Yeah. And again, I'm assuming we have a whole team of people sorting this shit out.
Mhm.
These are not Chewie's ideas. Chewie is very busy learning about everyday carry kits and what types of tools he can fit in his bag.
Yeah, anybody, I think a couple of us on the team have a wilderness survival experience, which implies knowing how to pack a bag and knowing how to get a lot of stuff in your backpack. So, cool. So I put that on the list for SOP. But that's the big question. Do we want to go through gate number 8 and go chase team 3, or do we want to do what they just asked us to do, which is go to the alt platform and check all those gates out? I don't know. Team 3 might be dead, but if they're not dead, then if they've been gone for months, right? So I mean,
The other thing is they might not be dead somewhere other than Gate 8.
It's
true.
true. They could
Mhm.
have. Well, I would like to think that if they went through that gate, the truck wrecked, somebody died, and they immediately turned around and went back through the gate, they would have come home. They wouldn't have stayed there.
yes, 100%. They
My-
definitely are there.
My theory is they went through the gate, they took the truck, they got a quarter mile from the gate. The snake or the tremor monster attacked them. They fell through the floor, somebody died, and then they moved on foot. We didn't have enough time to really look around to see if there was any sign of them moving on. But that's my theory about what happened.
Like I can see Australia as being a good place for us to like. It's like if we got lost, we would have gone to Australia, try and get to that train station.
So
And-
we could go to Australia and then find a library there, and then we can do more research as to what exactly the US looks like, as in the landmass of the US, because we obviously know the government's whatever the
Yeah,
fuck it is.
we could also find out if anybody knows that there are giant tremor monsters in the desert,
Yes.
because maybe these are all over the place. Maybe this is kaiju land.
Maybe Australia has a different species of worm monster, but it's also poisonous.
Okay, so here's another question. They've been gone for months, like 6 months, right?
Here,
Yeah.
3 months overdue.
Yeah, the 3 months. They were gone for 3 months, and now they're 3 months overdue. Is that right?
Yes, they were gone for 3 months. They were supposed to be gone for 90 days, and they still haven't come back.
Okay, so they are 6 months
Yeah.
from departure. So if they went through the gate, let's say that gate number 8 was the very last thing they did just before they came home, just to maximize time. They've been through on the other side for 3 months. So if they didn't die in the desert, they made it to somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And if they made it to somewhere and could get supplies or whatever else they needed, they would have come back to the gate.
Yep.
To try to come home.
Yep.
Once they had like water and supplies or whatever they could gather.
Yep.
So either they didn't make it to anywhere and they died in the desert, or they made it somewhere, but for some reason they can't come back. Like maybe they were thrown in prison or something like that. So
We're
we have
also ignoring the fact that the American Southwest may have never become a city and still became westernized and still could be inhabited by native peoples.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Like that may not even be the United States. The United States may be like 4 different countries there. We don't
Yeah.
know.
So I
But like,
personally have
I guess what I'm saying is like, if we do find them, we have to count on that they're in some kind of situation
Yep.
that we'll have to extract them from,
Yep.
because if they could have just left, they would have tried to come home.
Yep. My pet theory is that gate leads to the Nevada desert nuclear test range, and that the giant monster is from the Trinity test.
Oh yeah, maybe
That's
like nuclear
my
bombs
pet
made the gate
my
not
pet
work.
theory. Yeah.
We
In
need
which
to get a
case,
sample of ocean water.
Not there, we don't.
yeah.
But if we get a sample of ocean water, it can be tested for H3,
Yeah.
and we can tell if they've tested nuclear bombs.
Really?
There's a lot of ways to test for nuclear bombs. It's
Well,
once you set
Sadie's
off
very excited.
once you set off a nuclear bomb, basically everything's contaminated.
Yeah, you could check pretty much anything in the world.
Hey, y'all aren't contaminated anymore. Didn't know that. No radiation in your bodies.
Oh, that's right. If we did that, we'd bring it through the gate, and it'd be another thing the gate's perfect for. turning modern steel into pre-war steel.
Yeah, that's true. 100%. All right. So we agree that we want to go after team 3. We're now trying to figure out which way we want to try to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, before you go any further, the lieutenants can come back with some new directives from you from the general, and as well as answer some and have you guys talk to the historian that you wanted to talk to, and we'll take your equipment list as well, just so you know. But keep going.
Is there a strategy guy we can talk to?
Like,
Like,
to be more than that.
Yeah, we should talk to a Navy SEAL or somebody who's good.
Yeah,
at
like a search. We need to talk to a
persons who
pararescue guy or a
Yeah.
search and rescue
search
person.
a search and rescue person, or a person who like plans military advances.
Yeah, that'd be a pararescue guy would do that.
We have a general, and you've got enough staff to probably find someone to talk to you about that. What do you want to know? The question from Yates will be, what do you want to know, so I can get the right person.
We need to come up with a plan. So we need another big brain to go with our big brains to make a plan.
Yeah, we have to cross a hostile environment where we'll need to know we'll need some tricks how to survive in a desert that's inhabited by some kind of, like, I don't want to say monster, but like, a big dangerous animal. Like it could be a tiger, it could be anything, right?
Yep.
And then
Stand polar
monster.
bears.
yeah, and that we know we're looking for lost people who may have been captured by somebody. So what should we be looking for or know to do that successfully? Because none of us have done it.
Effectively, we need a hostage rescue expert and a desert survival expert. I also like the idea of going to Sydney and doing some research there and learning what we can about North America, and maybe identifying where that desert is.
Oh wow, I wonder if that train station exists, like if it's a real place,
Yeah.
that we could go to and see where it is.
Oh, the one in Sydney?
Yeah, like big public buildings like that could be could be really old, right? They stick around a long time. It could still be there.
True. It's not LA. They don't knock
Yeah.
things down all the time.
But at the very least, let's get a really good detailed map of Sydney, at least
Yeah.
what that exists today.
Well, we
'Cause
should
it'll
be So-
we should be able
similar.
to get a map of Sydney from the 1940s. Like,
Did
Oh, yeah.
any
Sure, we can
of the
get that.
brochures we brought back have maps of Sydney and or Australia as a whole?
Yes, they do. You have maps. You have maps in the brochure you already have. Yes.
Okay.
You got train timetables. You've got.
Is there a brochure about the libraries and museums in Sydney?
No.
Oh.
There are ship liner timetables and costs and things like that. Places to eat, places to see.
Are there any so looking at the ship schedules, Are there any to the west coast of what is formerly known as the USA?
No.
Are there any to the east coast of what was formerly known as the USA?
You don't understand that register that either. There
Okay.
are ships going to Hong Kong. There are ships going to Argentina. There are ships going to India. There's a large cruise
Oh.
set to go back to the UK.
There's a
Another one
very good chance that the United States and Australia are not allied in this timeline.
But it mentions on the cover of the Look magazine that problems with the SSA and the United Kingdom have been rampant for years.
Yeah.
Yep, but Australia is still a Commonwealth nation, which implies
Yeah,
that it's friendly with England.
with England, but that doesn't mean that the Commonwealth is friendly with the United States or the replacement for the United States.
Oh, sure.
It's
Yeah,
very much a
okay.
Cold War type of situation. They're the Eastern Bloc. So there probably weren't a lot of
What about Canada?
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
There is no mention of Canada in any of the brochures or paperwork that you have.
Hmm. What about Scandinavia?
You can glean by looking at articles that are talking about the new United European USC, the United States of Europe, that is currently being formed. Who's on what side? It looks like, from what the article we're reading, it shows that the King and Queen of England, it mentions nothing about our Prime Minister, but mentions there and talks with Germany, the King of Sweden, and Sweden, Norway, Finland. You can guess it's all of Scandinavia as one nation, as well as the Kingdom of Russia and Poland to develop a united front. While Germany is the Democratic Republic of Germany, and it's the only it's like an only democratic nation really in the middle of Europe.
And they signed an alliance with the King of France, is what we heard on the
Right.
radio.
The King of France has just agreed to sign the alliance with treaty with everyone else, and treaty with Germany. Germany hasn't actually fully signed on to the United States of Europe yet, but it looks like they're going to. It says their chancellor is supposed to meet with the rest of the heads of the USC once the King of England returns.
Yeah, I mean that all sounds pretty good, and we know a gate that goes to the woods near Essen, and it was quite navigable. We could just.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It
It mentions the chancellor's name, which is going to make your eyes fall out of your head. But it mentions Chancellor Hitler.
Of course. This
Yeah,
is
that has.
God
That's
damn it, Space Hitler!
All right,
feels-
gotta go kill Hitler.
Yep. This feels like a world where democracy never happened. Right? There's the United States. Well, they're communist apparently, but the French Revolution didn't happen, so France is not a democracy. It sounds like the Magna Carta was never signed because England is not a democracy. Germany, which apparently didn't get into World War II, is a democracy, but it sounds like it's kind of a new thing.
Yeah,
I mean-
Leslie, that's what I mentioned. It kind of feels like that for the Democratic Republic of Germany is a relatively new thing. You can't gauge how old it is, but from the way it's talked about, it's a new wonderful thing, and people there seem to be very happy. And it's hard to read that name, and I'm not going to say it out loud that much, but that person is referred to in a very positive light of the changes that have come to the German people.
Is it definitely the guy? I mean, it's not, say, Johann Hitler, or
It's all you refer to is the first name.
yeah,
The last
see?
name. So, you see the first name at all. You only see last name.
Could be another one.
Could be, Bob Hitler.
Could be a
Stephen Hitler.
a Hitler that was a successful artist and therefore never became a horrible person.
Could be a lot of things. There were plenty of other people with that last name
Yeah,
in
it
Germany.
was-
I mean, yeah.
I
But-
definitely think that our next plan of action should be to go research at a library in
I
Sydney.
agree. Yeah.
Whether or not we come back then before we plan our rescue is something we have to decide after doing some research.
And by go to a library in Sydney, you mean in 1949 Sydney or here?
Yes, in 1949.
In 1949
Okay.
Sydney. In space
Yeah.
Sydney. In Two Moon Sydney.
Oh yeah, I would love to hear somebody
Because then we can also read
tell us
about their
about that.
astronomy and why there's 2 moons.
Yeah, that would. Yeah, it would be great to have somebody from the military here explain to us how there are 2 moons.
Brandon, we lost your camera.
Oh,
Hmm.
I didn't do anything. There we go. Maybe it just got interrupted.
Space.
Yeah, I agree. Step one is Sydney. We know Sydney is fairly safe. We get some period appropriate clothes. We get some tradable goods that we can use to pawn and make some money, and then we have a nice Australian vacation that includes a lot of time in a library. We learn as much as we can about North America. I don't think we should use Gate 8 for whatever we do.
What do you think we should?
Reference, but just a point of reference, you guys never really explored the gate that ended up in the copse of trees with the building distance with the bell.
Yeah.
You didn't go outside of that. You don't know where. You have an idea where that could possibly be.
That's true.
I like the idea of setting up radio transmitters and trying to figure out.
Although that could attract anybody.
It could
too.
Triangulating the location, but here's the thing: if we put up radio transmitters at the places that we know are deserted, like the mountain, then we could triangulate we'd need 3 locations to triangulate anything, right? So if we could find two deserted locations, put the transmitters there, then we can go out to the third one and use that as our triangulation point.
Yeah, but they'd all have to be close enough to be in radio range of each other, and they're like all on the other side of the world, right?
You're right. We would need AM radio. We get pretty far, but getting around.
Yeah, it seems too far. But on top of that, you just said something important, I think, and that's that probably another thing we'd have to do if we put a transmitter there is it wouldn't transmit until it heard something from us. We wouldn't want it just broadcasting all the time. We'd want to set it up so that it's listening, and then we could tell it, send out a signal, tell me where you are. It wouldn't, so that it would only tell us instead of just be there for anybody to hear it, right?
So another thing we could do, and I think this is going to be on the astronaut, is if we go through any one of the gates, probably one of the deserted ones, and with the right reference material, we should be able to look at the sky and use a sextant to determine our location.
True.
Probably. Yes. Well, at least
assuming their stars are the same.
Yeah, if the stars are the same, we have
2 moons,
so you could determine your longitude.
We have a clock.
I think.
Well, that's
latitude? What are the
determine latitude? We have a clock. We can determine longitude. All we need is a clock and the stars to determine fairly accurately a clock, the stars, and a sextant to determine our location fairly accurately in the world.
That seems like a thing that our astronauts should be able to learn how to do
within an error of margin of like probably 100 miles. But
yeah, that's super close enough. I mean, yeah.
Guys did it on sailboats 500 years ago. We should be able to do it too.
So so Sadie will say to Chewie, so Chewie, you're the only one I think in this group who has any experience making your way in a society where you're undocumented. And we're all going to be doing that when we go to Sydney.
Yep, that's true.
Can you teach us what we should and should not do? How do we get by? How do we not draw the attention of anybody who's going to ask us for our papers or ID? Like, how do we do that?
First, don't talk to cops ever.
Well,
I already know that.
But it's going to be hard because you guys are like not brown like me, right? The best way to do it is to be with other people like you, but we're all different. Unless we go to Minnesota land.
Sadie is as brown as you, though.
Yeah, so is Lola.
Okay, well, Leslie, not so brown.
Yeah, Sadie's from her family's from Guatemala.
So what I'm saying is, but where we're going, there's not going to be a whole lot of other brown people, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true. The one of us who looks like they'll fit in is definitely Cassie.
Yep.
Although they're not unfriendly to non-white people. I mean, they're giving Aborigines the right to vote. That seems like a thing that.
And they are definitely
is-
brown people.
So I
Um,
mean,
It
maybe
might be okay.
might be okay. But yeah, we want to try to appear to be somebody that nobody's going to look at. Does that mean we should like dress down and try to look kind of poor?
Yeah. Dressing down's good. Having lots of money so that you can do bribes is also good.
But not looking like you have lots of money.
Right. Right. Bribes are the best way to get around everything.
So do you think you would be the right person to sort of take the lead on getting us around there?
As the only person who bought the Streetwise skill, I'd say yes.
Fair enough.
So I'm thinking that we go do our research in Sydney, and then I think we need to figure out where that gate was with the white building, because that may potentially be closer to where gate 8 is.
Yeah.
Because that could have potentially been in North America as well, right?
I think that was in
If
the
I-
Western Hemisphere.
You didn't really check the time or date there, so it was hard to tell where it was.
The same with the farm. Well, I'm here. Can I look up what rice paddies look like?
Yeah, sure.
Does
They look
that
rather-
farm look like rice paddies?
Sure as heck does.
So it's either Sacramento or China.
Or the
What
Midwest of the
time-
United States?
I'm
What
sure
time zone
They
did
don't
we
grow
say it
rice in
was
the Midwest.
Well,
They don't
they-
grow rice.
Like Arkansas, they grow lots of rice.
they
Uh,
where do you think American
Oklahoma.
people got rice before before they grew it in Sacramento?
Oh, we didn't really. But
yeah, rice and soybeans.
Okay. So that one's probably not closer to where we need to go, but we don't know.
I love this whole like ship sextant thing. That's a terrific idea.
Yeah, literally, we could go through each one at night. We know and again, this is not Chewy talking. This is some expert in navigation that IDET has hired.
Yeah.
You go through the gate. If the stars are the same, which we have no idea if they are, if the stars are the same or sufficiently close, you can with a clock and a sextant determine your location within a few miles if you're good at it. But we could get it to where we could at least know, hey, this is the general state that this place is in,
Mhm.
right?
And we do know what time it is because we still have a
Yep.
clock. We still have a watch set to the time, and we know where that is. So
Yep.
Yeah.
What we so okay, project management time here. This is what we need to do: is come up with a list of our tasks. Task number 1 is do some research in Sydney, right? Like this is pretty straightforward. We're going to need clothes that are appropriate to the area. We're going to need valuables that we can pawn in order to have cash that we can spend in that area. Track number 2 is identify the location of all of the gates except number 8, because we're not super confident number 8 is going to be safe to pass backwards and forwards. And we do that with through astronomy and using navigation tools. So we're going to need somebody to be taught how to use a sextant and navigate via the stars and a clock. We need somebody full time keeping that the mechanical watch we have set to Germany time always wound up, because if that goes off, well, I guess we could just synchronize.
yeah, we'll just look
we
at the
could
difference between that
yeah, we
that
could-
and GMT, and we'll
You're
be
right.
fine.
We can just synchronize with a real clock. That's a better idea. All right. Once we have those two things figured out, then we need to figure out which gate is closest to gate 8 and use that gate to travel to where gate 8 is in their world, and then start snooping around. And again, we'll need period appropriate clothing, and ideally by that point some sort of paperwork which we can possibly acquire with all of the valuables we will be pawning in Australia.
I
How
let
long-
you guys hang on before you guys need further. I'm sorry to cut you off. One thing, since you brought it up one more time. I would like you guys to make a check for me, all of you. Where is it?
Thanks for
What kind of-
tuning into the debate club.
Tune into make club. There we go. My bad. Make me idea rolls.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Cassie's bag.
Oh, I missed it.
Say hi to everybody.
I'm still
Whoops,
learning
not a
this
D20.
spreadsheet, this sheet.
It's up at the top next to your intelligence.
Aha!
Hold on.
I see it.
Oh, we rolled a 12. Nice.
That was no, that was a
more.
D20. That wasn't. I got a 35
Aw,
though, which is still
That's
success.
booty.
Okay, so
I
got
failed.
13.
I have
got
an
a
idea.
90.
All right, those of you who made your idea rolls, great. My brain shut off mid thought. Give me a second while I reboot my server here.
It is 8:30. Do you want to take your 5-minute break?
Yeah, I didn't say 30. Why don't we just take a 5-minute break or
All right.
8-minute break, and we'll come back at 8:38. My brain
All right.
resets. hello everyone. Thank you for sticking with us tonight. We've come back from our break, where our team had gone back to Earth to report in, discuss the horrors and interesting parts of the Earth they discovered, and how they need to go back and try and find what's left of the team and what else is there, as well as the alternate platform not too far away. They were discussing the standard operating procedures, which they've kind of locked down, and they've got a written direction that they're going to follow, but we're not going to go too in depth on that. They requested a bunch of items. We're going to go through all that in a minute, and we'll go from there. So, after you guys have kind of explained to Lieutenant Yates what's going on, and she's got a historian here to answer your questions, and so that person's available for you to ask questions of. Everyone can ask 2 questions, otherwise we'll be here all night. So, we'll start with Leslie, and then Leslie had questions.
Okay. So we've kind of figured out that in this world there was definitely no French Revolution. I don't even know what to ask.
You want to skip to someone else?
Yeah, I gotta put my thoughts together.
Who wants to go first?
Are these Chewy questions or are these just general questions?
These are Chewy questions. These are character questions.
Okay. I don't want to go first.
Well, I got
Says
one.
Chewy's not smart.
Chewie's very smart. He's not educated is the problem. And so unless he is incentivized to educate himself about something, which he currently is, he's not going to have any intelligent questions to ask at this point.
I could ask practical questions like, what's a good way to hide from the cops when you don't have any paperwork in 1949?
That is a good question. Like what? So Chewie's question is, what should he know about traveling in Sydney in the 1940s as far as paperwork or procedures? How can he travel within the Commonwealth of England or the English Commonwealth without any paperwork or faked paperwork in Sydney in the 1940s?
Well, you shouldn't have to worry about carrying paperwork unless you're a foreign national or you're leaving the country that you're in. Now, if you get stopped by the police, then I can ask to see your paperwork. So, not that I recommend that you would forge or steal documents, but those could be helpful in case you are running with the authorities. Otherwise, you won't have to worry too much if you're trying to get places. Checking ID wasn't as common as people think it is today.
All right.
So
Leslie had her hand up.
Yeah. So because we're gonna go try and do this Sydney thing. When did the British start using Australia as a penal colony? And how did it go from being a penal colony to its own country? And when did they fight the emus? Sorry, that's 3 questions.
Penal colony pretty much began in the late 1700s, and it ceased being a penal colony in the late 1860s. That's just rough information. Don't come in the comments and call me on that, but pretty much that's how it works. I'm not going to look at the emu war for you. You can figure that out yourself. But also don't forget, questions like that may not be relevant to where you're going because it is what it is. You might ask general questions about how things work, just a reference.
Also, the emo war was in 1932.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I do like the emo war. I'm interested in. I would like the historical photographs of the emo war.
It's a lot of MCR shirts, you know.
Chloe, does Lola have
And
any
swoop.
questions? Or Lola, does Chloe have any questions?
I guess I'll ask, with 1949 technology and based on what we kind of guessed is going on, like what are the best ways to travel around? And I want to ask, like, for Australia at that time, what would have been like, so we're talking about going to a library, but like, is there a university or something that's a good place that we should check out instead?
Oh, there's a university in New South Wales. It's been there since before 1900. So you have that to check out. Easiest ways to travel, of course, around there, railways. Trains are the best way to travel at that point. You get you further. Roads are kind of at that time period, and cars may have did exist, but roads, especially in the middle of the outback, not so great. You'd be able to drive on the roads to and from some larger cities, no problem. But even in the USA in the late 1940s, there wasn't a national highway system that wasn't built until the late 1950s. So driving then was pretty much a city thing. You're driving between places. It was really difficult. So I can't imagine like driving in the outback in 1940s, let alone the United States. Mike knows in the United States it was a nightmare until the mid 50s. That answer your question?
Yeah.
All right, Brandon.
So the magazine that we have, did it have enough pictures in it for us to feel like we have a good idea what fashion looks like?
Oh yeah,
Like
definitely. Fashion looks pretty similar to what happened in the 1940s. You don't see anything weird or out of place.
Okay. So for our historian, based on what we've got to show them, how do they feel like women are treated in this society? They can read this
Women,
magazine and the articles and everything else. Like, are we looking at a place where we're not going to be able to get along very well because we're women?
no, it seems like at least in the magazine you're showing us that the world seems to be treating women rather well. There is no massive inequality. If they're letting Aborigines vote, pretty sure women have the same right to vote. I mean, it wasn't mentioned. So, and that happened before this time period, so it shouldn't be an issue. There may be the standard sexism that goes on, but even then, and if they're positive about Aboriginal votes, they should be positive about women.
Okay. So we're not likely to run into situations where like you can't travel without your male escort or some crazy thing like that.
I mean, unless they bring it up when you're there. There's
Okay.
no way for us to tell. We would like if you guys could bring more information back about the SSA and what they are, because it what you know is very much a mystery, and it's very interesting that the U.S. took a weird communist, socialist, fascist turn so early in its or at that time period at least.
Maybe we could get whatever's in Australia, but it'll be from the Australian point of view, which, might be true, might be their version.
Oh, and we also determined, you asked about the railway station. That is, so when we understand, I had the damn photo open. That looks to be, come on, not called that anymore. Oh, come on.
I guess my second question is pretty straightforward and maybe covered by what somebody else asked, and that's is there such a thing as like a citizen ID card in 1949 in Sydney?
Not really, no.
Okay, so there's no like driver's license or
There are driver's licenses
IDs or whatever.
and that's the kind of ID then, but you're
But
really
like everybody
not gonna ask
wouldn't
for
have
those.
ID
No,
necessarily.
and they're not going to ask you for it all the time either.
All right.
And the IDs they did have wouldn't necessarily have had photos.
Oh, I guess we can also get some advice on like what's a good pawnable item for us to bring with us that would
Jewelry.
Ooh, yeah.
historical. Yeah, jewelry. Okay, good. That makes sense.
Hold on, I have it written down here. I'm an idiot. Don't have that open. That looks to be the old Fort Macquarie train depot, which is on the same peninsula that the Sydney Opera House now sits on. That was only in operation until the early 1960s, and that was closed down.
When did they build the Sydney Opera House? Is that like a new thing?
They built it in 1970s.
Oh, so that's not going to be there.
Nope, it's on the same place where the railway station described is. Based on the description and what you guys talked about where it was, that's got to be where what you're talking about. So
Okay.
wherever you're at, it has definitely some historical significance, or at least some relevance to where we live. So it could be the same, but not like you mentioned.
All right. We also we need some luggage, like satchels and other period appropriate stuff to carry our clothing and whatever else in.
Steamer trunks, they're very easy to get, and they'll have those for you. They can have one one suit or fancy dress, not fancy dress, for fancy clothing and a set of common clothing to wear for everybody on the team. So you have 1 and 1 for that time period.
Okay.
Yeah, someone mentioned in the comments. Be prepared for a different scale of economy.
Hmm.
Right.
Okay,
Well,
and they're going to give you they don't have just instant access to gold rings and whatnot. They are provide you with what jewelry they can get. So okay, everyone on base, let's all have it. You can. It's not a wedding ring. Give it to us. We'll pay you for it. We'll pay you for it. So you're gonna get a weird combination of necklaces, anklets, rings, bracelets,
love it.
watches.
Cool. We have to look at how the diamonds are cut because they started cutting diamonds a different way after the 40s.
You're not gonna influence time, but hey,
Yeah. See, I had a gemologist in one of my games once, and it was terrible. All they cared about.
Yeah.
We
I
found
worked
some
on the
gems.
jewelry.
What kind of cut are they? No, nobody cares.
not important. Moving on.
Who cares?
Okay, that all the questions we have answered. I think you guys, your list that you sent, that Chloe posted, as well as you guys posted on the SOP list, seemed to work for me. Tripod,
Yes.
blah,
I
blah,
get
blah.
a people's history of the United States.
The new directives that came from the general, they would definitely want you to explore that 1949 world, just to get a feel for what it's about, so they can see the differences between that world and our world as much as you can gather. Can't read my handwriting. Continue to look for Team 3 if possible. Make sure and keep looking for things that can help planet Earth. That's kind of the primary thing to worry about. But you don't know what that world may have. It could have different things, different kind of water. It could have different kind of plants. It could have different kind of animals.
Could have an extra moon.
That too.
If we run out of moon, they have a spare.
As
We run out of cheese. We can go get their moon.
as Lieutenant Yates points out, that giant worm could be a source of food for all we know. I mean, one of
you're
those
welcome.
it's like a feed an entire city block. And please just try not to start a war.
So far, so good.
Okay.
But they tell you, don't start an intergalactic war. Don't start anything. But don't be afraid to interact with people. We want to learn about those cultures. The more we know, the better. I mean, if they're going to be our neighbor, we should, in a universal sense, our neighbor. We probably should be more aware of who and what they are, because eventually they may have Fringeworthy too, and we meet them on the paths. And you know that's going to go.
So that's a great question, and I forgot about this. Did they tell us like what we're supposed to say to people? Like, we're from some other Earth and we want to open negotiations or trade agreements, or we want to have start a dialogue with your United Nations. Like, what are we supposed to be telling people at their end?
They're not giving you any directives on that. They're telling you to use your head and
Yeah, but
understand.
like, what do they want us to accomplish?
Well, again, they said find things that'll help Earth. 2, find that team. 3, explore that world, those worlds, and understand them. And because they may have more things than just a casual view will give you.
Okay, but they don't have any advice about whether we should tell people where we're from and who we are or anything like that.
Any negotiator will tell you that you probably don't want to show your hand to people and tell them you're an alien. You're from another world and you're from a different time. That's not going to go well.
Okay.
So,
well, I mean, unless you can prove it.
Even then, probably not going to go well, is what they'll tell you. But hey, we trust you we hired you, we've trained you, we trust you to handle this. If we didn't trust you to handle it, you wouldn't be going on this mission.
Okay. All expense paid trip to Sydney, Australia.
All right. So with that said, you guys heading back out. Any other questions? Anything solved? We got everything?
I think.
I put my list of items. Nothing's too spectacular.
Yeah.
They're able to build the capsule for you. They can give you 3 of those. In the meantime, it's basically a giant capsule.
And we'll bring we'll get them to give us a logbook, like any kind of blank book they have laying around for accounting or whatever. Give us
They
that.
give you a bunch of those, no problem.
Yeah, so we'll start keeping a log in that.
All right. So you got everything else you guys needed. Yeah, you wanted the motorcycles. You wanted the 4 motorcycles. I didn't. Right? It's on the list.
Oh, I didn't put that on the list, but yeah.
They have time to get that though, because we don't need them right this second. right?
They can get those for you. Those aren't hard to procure. If you ask for a attack helicopter, that's not coming through for a while. Nor is it going to fit through the portal.
What
All
about
right.
a pizza oven?
Portable pizza ovens did not exist in 2008. They do now, which is kind of a sad thing if you think about it.
I mean, maybe they invented it on this world. We need to find one.
Hey, you never know. Maybe they don't even have pizza. That's a sad thing. You could fix that.
That's how we'll get money in this world. We'll invent things that haven't been invented yet.
Velcro.
It's absolutely a valuable strategy. We could write songs that haven't been written yet. We could do anything.
Okay, so we're all gonna need to memorize the Beatles' entire discography and learn how to play instruments.
It's a
And
viable
never come
strategy.
home.
Yeah. Then we all fake our own deaths so we can go home.
Anyway, we'll get back into character now and send you guys back out on the pathways. So, what's
we
the
go.
plan?
I guess we followed the same route we did last time.
You're going back towards -1.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll cut to the chase. You guys pull back into -1. No problems on the route. Already checked for that for anyone asks.
In through gate number 4, right? Do
Yep.
we know?
Well,
Can
before
we
we get there,
estimate about what time it'll be when we go through the gate?
did you guys keep your watches set?
We kept a
What we
watch
did
was
we-
set to German time. On
Yeah,
this
we
plan.
we
Okay.
checked the offset for German time from GMT, so we could basically make a piece of paper for ourselves that says what the offset is for each time zone and reference it. So we'll know what time it is in Sydney based on what time it is for us.
Gonna make me look it up anyway, aren't you? Yep, you sure
Hmm.
are.
I mean, I don't know what time it is. You act like I know how to read a watch.
I'm pretty sure you know how to read a watch, though.
Yeah, that's true.
A digital watch, you know.
You're an astronaut.
Astronauts have digital watches. They don't have those old watches. All right. So yes, portal
Casio
number
G
4.
Shock.
All right.
Uh,
Just to reference, when you guys pull back onto the platform. Lola's paint job is completely gone. You do find that one piece of chapstick you left on the alternate platform is still there. But anything Lola spray painted has completely gone now.
what
Otherwise,
time
you
of day do we want to go to Sydney? Do we want to go late at night again so that no one will see us arrive?
That's probably a wise choice. We'll have to figure out though where to hide out until it is a time that people are around.
Okay, so I'm sorry, you guys set your clock to German time?
We
We're
should
gonna
s-
set.
we
compare
should
it to
set
Sydney?
it. We should set it
It's
to
a-
Sydney time based off of the German time that we knew.
Okay. Germany is 16 hours ahead of, technically, we'll just say 16 hours ahead of Sydney.
All right.
So if it's 2 a.m. on Tuesday, it is 10 a.m. on, wait a minute, that can't be right. That's not how that works.
I mean, we can
I
wait
understand
here. We can wait here and go through whenever we
It's
want.
16 hours apart.
So we have a train schedule, so we know what time the earliest trains are and the latest trains are. Does the schedule say what time the station closes and opens?
Station closes at 10 p.m., opens at 6 a.m.
Okay, so we could basically come through just as the station is opening.
That's
That
probably a
makes sense.
good idea.
Or just a few minutes before it closes, but then we'd be in the city at night.
Yeah. We should arrive in the morning. Probably right as the station opens, or a little while afterwards when it's most busy. If we arrive when it's most busy, there's most shit going on. People aren't going to care if 4 people appear out of nowhere because they're not going to be paying attention to what we're doing. They're going to be paying attention to what they're doing, trying to get their own trains. Honestly, going at the time when it's the busiest is probably the best.
Okay, you're the expert at blending in. I have a nice, brimmed hat to wear with this dress, so I'm good.
I mean, the same, I would imagine. And a nice little purse.
And
For women, pants are not recommended, but you can wear pants if you want to wear pants. I'll let you describe your outfits as you see fit.
My dress
so
is blue. Because it's my favorite color.
there you go. And I guess we'll have one steamer trunk for the group. We haven't discussed what we're actually bringing into Sydney with us. I'm going to bring like a small leather suitcase, like a satchel, with at least the change clothes in it, right?
Yeah, leather suitcase.
Yeah, we have our steamer trunks.
So cool. We have steamer trunks.
Well, let's be clear.
Are we taking those to the library?
Let's be clear. A steamer trunk is huge.
Yeah.
It's like 3 or 4 feet long. Like what we should really be carrying is like that's what we use if we need to carry something big through here.
Yeah, I think we should just bring bags.
Yeah, we should each have a personal bag.
Yeah.
Which is,
purses and a briefcase.
Like a briefcase sized bag and what we can fit in the briefcase. So change of clothes, my freshly acquired antique Welby pistol, multi-tool, a few other doodads, the jewelry that we have for using to convert to cash, a whistle, pepper spray, toiletries, things like that.
Yeah, I basically dropped my utility belt into the suitcase.
Yeah, we're in an urban environment here. We don't need to be packing for camp out. We need to have stuff.
I think I'd have like I guess a carpet bag, right? Or so change a second dress. My pistol, obviously, even though I don't have a cool period one. My knife,
All
a packet of coffee.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about what you guys are bringing. I mean, I assume you guys know what you're bringing. I'm not gonna write you up on that. Don't worry about it. Anything special you're bringing, I want to know. Outside of that,
I'd obviously have the camera and film.
the camera is definitely dated, so that I got people's attention if you lose that. Well, the spray paint cans would definitely be noticeable.
I imagine she probably has a couple. I imagine, she's doing the thing. In spy movies where you have a pistol strapped to your thigh under your dress. She has spray cans.
Oh my. Is she clinking when she walks?
All right.
She
So
can probably ask for like ones that are less noisy.
Once we get in, we need to figure out where there's a library or museum for us to go to.
well, that should be easy. We can ask anybody.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys are going through that portal onto that platform. What time of day were you aiming for?
I'd say when does the earliest train normally arrive?
7 a.m.
All right, so shortly after that. Then if anybody asks, we arrived on that train.
From where?
Well, where's the train coming from?
Yeah.
Where's the train coming from?
That's what I was asking. We have the schedule, so
yeah.
But we all know that's the important thing. So if we are asked, we will know where we supposedly came from.
Where did we come from, Mike?
Give me a second. Just
Perth.
Thank God this is online and not at home, or I would go crazy.
Perth.
You're right. It would be Perth.
Okay.
It's always.
I thought you said Earth.
Perth.
Earth too, but Perth.
Anytime you need a location in Australia, it's Perth.
Actually, it'd be your choice. Be Perth, or it would be Newcastle.
Perth. We just arrived from Perth.
Okay, Perth sounds good to me.
Okay,
we're all fairly young, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 38.
Oh, okay. Well,
Sadie's 28.
I am only like 21, so.
Ashton Lowell's like 27, I think. I wrote it down.
Because I say
Apparently, I'm old.
it would be easy for us to just say we're students, but you guys are all
25.
y'all are too old to be students. So
They're
That's-
old students.
and it's not always clear how exactly old you are, but
sure.
yeah. So let's see what we can go find. Everybody look like a tourist. Let's go.
Okay, you step through the portal, and you're on top of that building. It's daylight outside. You hear the bustle of the port and trains below, and you hear people's voices. There's no one up here on top of the building with you, but there are still benches and whatnot.
Okay, I guess
the-
we move into the station proper.
And then
Yeah.
outside.
Yeah.
Hey, you walk downstairs. The clothes kind of itch you're wearing. You're not used to this much fabric, and especially wool. Wool is not comfortable.
Before we leave the train station, I'm going to go to the newsstand, and I'm going to go to the guy at the newsstand. I'm going to say, "Hey, buddy, I need you give me some directions. Can you tell me where's the university library, and also where I can find a pawn shop?"
Where are you from?
We just arrived from Perth. Yeah, we're on a trip. Me and my friends. We're just here to see Sydney.
Okay, I think it's making a check on that one.
All right.
Just thinking, it's just to bullshit this guy because your voice does not sound
Oh,
normal
it
to him.
does not sound anything like an Australian.
No, you're definitely not from around here. So
He did not say mate once.
let's see. Go ahead and make me an etiquette roll. I'm probably not gonna go well for you, but
Etiquette. Oh God.
I say fast.
Holy shit! I made it. I rolled a 6.
Really?
Etiquette 10.
Really? That is awesome. So here, folks. I can't believe it. Okay, well, there you go.
Bullshit is a universal language.
All right, no problem. I'm not gonna do the accent. All right, no problem. Yeah. Well, Southern Cross University is just down the street, and pawn shop. You have to go further into winter to find that. So it's gonna be about a 20-30 minute walk. If you follow the main avenue and go past the main museum and find the boulevard, it's just not too far down the boulevard.
Righto. Cheerio, chappers.
It looks at you
Sure.
very strangely, like goes back to
I-
work.
I also look at him very strangely.
Sadie just
Thankfully, he probably doesn't get
smiles.
paid enough to care.
It's fine. A half an hour walk. This is great.
Also, I heard we're gonna go past a museum. We might want to check that out after the library.
After the pawn shop, you mean?
First
Well-
stop, pawn shop. We need local currency.
Yeah.
All right, so you're headed to the pawn shop, which again is a 30-minute walk, but you're walking through Sydney, and mind you, it's strange because the air here is cleaner in many ways, but when you're dealing with vehicles on the street, and there's still some cars on the street, the car exhaust is worse than it is in our time. So,
Sure.
oh, whoa. Like
Yeah,
it's
there
like
are
it's like
horses.
there are horses. Yeah, there are horses and horse carriages still here at this time too. But even so, the car exhaust fumes are heinous. It's like working in a truck yard. Leaded gasoline, everyone's favorite. So, I'm gonna just do a couple checks on my end to see if anything looks anything weird to you, just for a check roll. I'll do one on open too. Why not?
Tourists walking down the street with their suitcases.
Yep.
Um,
Always gets people's attention.
Maybe we should find a hotel first.
We don't have any money until
Yeah.
we go to the pawn shop.
All right.
Okay, so you head to the pawn shop.
Yeah, I mean the real story, if anybody really wants to ask, is that we're hoping to find work here. I mean that's what they want to hear from people who look like us.
Good point.
Okay. You find the pawn shop, no problem. Like Mickey's pawn shop on the outside, a little sign, nothing really fancy.
We all stand back and let Chewie do his thing.
Yep. Yep. All right. So Chewie goes up to the counter. He has 3 pieces of jewelry prepared. Nothing too fancy, but things that should be made of gold and reasonably valuable. I don't want to go and dump an entire handful of jewelry on the counter and say, "What do you give me for this?" Because that's going to raise a whole lot of suspicion. But I got 3
you have
coins.
3 women with you who look like they could have been the owners of that jewelry until
Sure.
you all needed money.
Sure. So I put them on the counter and I say, I would like to pawn these. Specifically, I want to pawn them because that's less suspicious than selling.
Hmm. All right. I don't see a problem with that. These three rings you said, right?
Yep.
Let's see. I can give you 10 for that one, 20 for that one. Oh, I like that one. I think we can get that. I can risk that one. So I can say 30 for that one.
This is $65.
Mhm.
65 Canadian.
65 pounds.
Oh, 65 pounds. Oh, right. Pounds. Right. Are you sure? Could you do a little bit better than that? These are family antiques. Very valuable.
Oh, I'm sure they are, son. But that's all I'm giving you for now.
All right, deal.
Okay. So, one of you signed something here. Let's just write this bill of sale out. And what's your name again?
My name is Bud Long.
Bud Long. Long. Okay. All right. Okay, just go ahead and sign this here.
I sign a scribble of Bud Long.
Forgery. Are you trying to make it look fancy or just making up a signature?
Just making up a signature, a rough one.
Okay.
Collect the tickets and the
All right.
cash.
He fills out 3 of those things for each of the rings, one for each of the rings, and you get your 65 pounds.
All right. 65 pounds should go a pretty long ways.
Fancy jewelry.
Yep. I make a point of taking the tickets, even though we're never coming back here. But it's less suspicious.
All right, come back out with money in your pocket.
All right, I give everybody $10, or excuse me, I give everybody 10 pounds, and then hold
Who's
on
on the money?
Ooh.
Yeah.
it
Who's
would
on
be
the money?
King George.
King George.
Okay.
So everybody has 10 pounds of their own money, and then I'll hold on to the rest for bribes and whatever else we need.
Are there
Okay.
any emus on the money?
No.
Okay.
Let's find an inexpensive hotel. Someplace quiet.
Sure.
Do we see like a neon sign for a hotel?
Not really. No,
Just
no neon
now?
signs here.
Does
It's also
neon
daytime.
exist now?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, neon does exist now. It's a big
Yeah,
thing in the 30s and 40s.
It was noir
Weird.
with all the neon signs and everything. Maybe you could ask the pawn shop guy where there's a
Oh, yeah, that's a
motel.
good idea. I'll ask the pawn shop guy. Can you tell us where a guy like me and my friends could get a room for the night? Someplace cheap?
The question is how much I charge you for that.
Look,
I'm just kidding. I'm
you and
just
I both
kidding.
know
You're
that
gonna go
you got a
down
great
3
deal.
blocks and you
Just-
need to grow a sense of humor before you're long here, boy.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
All right, 3 blocks. You said
3 blocks. 3 blocks. Make a left, and should be Karen's rooms on the right side of the street.
Karen's rooms. Got it.
all right, that's great.
Right. You go down there, you find a room. That's the plan. Anything else? While you're out on the
Are we
street.
gonna get looked at weird if we only try to get one room
Oh, we're gonna get.
by our gender makeup?
I assume we're gonna get 2 rooms. You think, or do you want to just get one? I don't know.
So
We're gonna.
$65 should be a lot of money. We should be able to
Yeah,
afford to get 2 rooms.
We really need 2 rooms in order to get good nights of sleep.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
and that's
I mean, let's see how much they charge us.
sure. Go to work, Chewy.
Yeah, so I go to the rooms and say I need 2 rooms for the night. Maybe possibly for the week, but let's just start with one night.
Well, rooms here, late at the front. Well, the rooms here start at £2 a night. If you want, are you been eating here or no? I serve dinner at 7 p.m. and breakfast at 7 a.m. sharp. No lunches.
We'll be in dinner here.
All right, so £3 a night.
All right, let's get one night. I'd slide her £6.
Well, 2 rooms, okay. So, who's your wife?
This is my sister, Ophelia.
Ophelia. I see. Okay. And I assume these are not your sisters behind you?
This is my cousin Mary Elizabeth, and her best friend, Sophia.
With an
Notice he
F. Sophia with an F.
Okay, just go ahead and we all sign the register here, and we'll get you all taken care of.
Bud
Don't-
Long.
Don't know why we do that, but do we all need to sign or just the person who's paying
Everyone
them?
needs to sign.
All right.
Mhm.
So correct me if I'm wrong, Bob. You were pointing at me when you said Ophelia.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, and I'm Mary.
I will sign the register Ophelia Long.
Yeah, so we're clear on who's using what name. All right. So you guys sign the register, and she yells at Frank to come pick your luggage up and take you upstairs. This older man comes out and takes your luggage up, and he can carry all of it too. Takes your bags that you have with you, and these are lots of. He looks at you guys like this is all heavy because you got like things like guns and other stuff that they're rather not like, correct?
Yeah.
Um,
Nothing too heavy.
Yeah, I don't think my bag is actually heavier
Okay.
than. It's not that heavy. It's got 1 pistol in it. That's it, and then it's just got regular other stuff.
Okay. He'll gather your bags up and take them upstairs and show you to your 2 rooms
All right.
and give you the keys.
Great. So we'll drop all of our stuff in the rooms, and then we will have a quick conference. What was that?
What was what?
Why did you have to make up a bunch of different names that we have to remember? Like nobody's going to know our names here, Chewy.
My name's Sophia Jones. Thank you very much.
Yeah, my name's Mary.
Yeah, but it's like making up stuff that you don't have to make up is just an invitation to mess it up.
I don't think they would have bought Lady Platinum as a name, though.
I don't know why we're all ganging up on Bud Long.
All right. I guess I need to
Also, this is
remember your.
Australia, so your name's it's Bud Long, probably something like Ophi, and Mary probably doesn't get shortened, but I'm probably just Soph.
Sophia.
Ophi. I think you should make it your permanent name. Ophi Sadie. It's close.
This is the worst RPG nightmare. Everybody in this game already had 2 names. Now they have 3.
Okay, so what's the plan?
All right. So now we have a home base. Do we want to go to the museum or to the library?
Library first.
Museum might have stuff about, I don't know, history of the world. That might be useful.
We lost your camera
Yeah.
again, Brandon.
Oh.
It
Keeps doing that.
Yeah, it's I think it's my KVM switch.
Oh,
Sorry
I
about
see.
that.
It might be spacebar.
No, it's just it's
Okay.
got a
That makes
hiccup.
sense. That makes sense.
It might be better to go to the museum first because then we kind of get a visual overview of things and then we can be more direct in what we research.
I agree.
Also, what kind of museum was it?
Yeah, I was
Because
gonna say
if
this.
it's modern art, then you know.
Yeah, it could be an art museum or natural history museum, and we don't need to look at dinosaur bones. We need to be looking at world history.
Maybe there'll be
stuff.
dinosaur bones of giant snakes.
Yeah.
Hey,
It is
good
a
point.
natural. You walk past it, so it's a natural history museum.
Maybe it talks about like when the second moon showed up.
True. It could talk about the moon.
This world has weird dinosaur monsters and a second moon. I think the Natural History Museum might have some surprises for us. Because their natural history is not our natural history.
True.
Okay, so
Yeah, I'm
natural,
down to visit a museum.
fantastic.
You're
You guys,
you're
you guys head
welcome,
there.
Mike.
Oh no, it's fine. Totally fine. I don't mind being tested. It's okay. Well, this game is meant
We
that.
check the value of pi in this world to the 130th digit. What is it?
Technically, pi only costs 10 cents. 10 cents a slice. You're fine.
Well,
Unless you're getting
pi
peach,
would
then
be
it's
the
extra.
same number everywhere because it's the ratio of radius to circumference.
Yeah, I'm gonna design a world that screws with pi. Thanks, guys.
Different kinds of circles here. You never know.
I'm not that kind of GM, I promise. Sure, you go to an interest museum. It costs just pennies to get in to see things, and
Cool. Now we have
as you're
coins.
walking through it, they're showing things. Mind you, this is 1940s, and so things are relatively accurate to what we know it today, just not as more direct and concise. References to understand what dinosaurs are. There's a section on that, and you get to the section titled "Modern Dinosaurs,"
Oh,
and there's a
Yeah.
huge exhibit on worms that are native to South America.
All right.
They exist in only one part of the world, and their remains have been shown around everywhere else. They've not been seen anywhere else, but they exist in South America.
Mongolian death worms.
In the nation of Chile, in the Atacama Desert.
Bing, 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 bing.
Wow.
Which is also known as the hottest place on Earth, also the driest place on Earth. And they reference how they live underground there, and many of the native peoples who lived there for so long used to farm them for food. No one's eaten any, and no one's actually caught or eaten any in the past 20 or 30 years, but apparently they're supposed to taste like bacon.
Of course they do.
okay.
I'm surprised
we need to
big game
catch one of
hunters
these.
don't go there and hunt them.
Oh, people mentioned this whole section on trying to hunt them, and they're hard to find, and plus that place is incredibly dangerous and dry, and so expeditions out there only last a day or two, and then go back and find help. Plus, there's no real cities near there either, so it's a hard flung part of the world to get to.
They're going to be very surprised when they find that truck.
What's this Chevy from the future doing here? What's this piece of crap from the future doing here?
So we need to find a steamliner to Chile.
Chile.
Or you can just go through the portal.
No,
Pass.
I don't want to get eaten.
No. Okay. So what we could do instead, I mean, we're probably going to need to go through the portal.
Yeah.
But,
Well, now we have a good idea where if we ended up in the Atacama Desert when we came out of the portal, now we can look at a map and see which way we should go to find civilization. But we
Also,
don't know where they went, so that doesn't help.
But we're also pretty sure that there's another portal in South America too.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's true.
On the other side of South America.
Is there an exhibit about the Emu Wars?
Because you're asking about it, yes, there is. It was very short. It was funny, and The Australians joke about it, not so much.
I need to look at a map of South America.
Do we learn anything else interesting about dingoes eating babies or anything like that?
You get the standard Natural History Museum of, basically of the history of man, which doesn't seem to be changed as far as you can tell. The history of animals and eco-environments. Apparently, Australia is not as dry as it is in our world. When they talk about the outback, they refer to the lush fields of the outback as opposed to the desert that we all know. That's like 45 degrees Celsius on a cool day.
I just know that over 30 is apparently hot.
It's about 120 degrees.
Well, okay. So we've found something about the giant worms. That's great. So we know generally what they are now. We'll record any information that they have about them that are like on placards or whatever.
Yeah.
So we'll just, take notes. And then do they
And
have anything about the moon?
Oh, yes. You're looking for astronomy stuff. So I guess there'd be a little bit on that. There's always talk about the second moon. Where's the name I wrote down for it? Damn it.
It's not just the moon number 2.
No, they have a name for it. Oh, crap. Where'd it go? I can't find it, so we're gonna refer to it as Luna Minor.
Hmm.
For now, it's like its actual name. But apparently, it appeared 200 years ago or so. In 1766, I written 1766, yeah, 1766, it appeared, and it's gotten steadily bigger ever since.
That's ominous.
Wait, when did
But
it
from
appear?
1766.
1766.
And it's gotten steadily bigger since then, but it's in definitely some kind of orbit. So they think it's just a captured moon, and it's settling into an orbit. They don't. It's not. As far as they understand at this point, it's not on a crash trajectory or it's spiraling in.
They do have some
Otherwise-
time to create a space program, I guess.
Or they're also lying to the public about that. You don't quite know.
Hmm.
Well,
But
if it's on the same plane as Luna, and
Which
it's
it was
slowly
because
getting,
it went behind the moon.
yeah, and it's slowly getting closer, it's going to collide with Luna before it collides with the Earth, which is probably just as bad.
Well, not necessarily. Once it gets, it'll slow down. Its speed will tend to match, it'll get closer to Luna's speed as it gets to that orbit, right? So they may co-orbit an opposite sides of the Earth or whatever for a while.
just in the chat to name
Who
it
knows?
Artemis, and I will do that. The moon's name is now Artemis.
That makes sense.
Thank you.
But yeah, that's does seem bad.
So what you're saying is George Washington's actually an alien and
Nope.
something like that.
So that's pretty much it for the history of Natural History Museum.
Okay. What do you think you want to look up at the library, guys?
As much information as we can get about Chile and about these Chilean death worms.
I want
that's
to
true.
get a basic history of the SSA.
Yeah,
SSA?
Yeah.
we need information about the world superpowers.
Yeah, just basically a book on global politics that was written in the last, 5 years or whatever.
Also,
God.
some of these library books might sneak into my purse.
Oh, you're a thief. I see. Well, we'll get to
No,
that later.
I don't know if she'd really be actually.
You could also see if they would check out a library book to you. Even, I mean, as a tourist, in the late 40s and the 50s, they're just more trusting.
Yeah. Chewie will just walk out with some.
I mean, if they didn't have a Second World War, then they'd probably be way more trusting.
Yeah, let's go to the library and look up some things. What can we learn?
Okay, hang on a second. I have a section on the whole history of this world. I can't seem to find the document, but I have so many documents.
I also want to look up more about the dinosaur worms.
Yeah, you know what's actually also once we find the information we want to the library, we could go to a bookstore
Or a newsstand. What we should do
or a
is
newsstand, and
go
we need to buy books and newspapers to take home.
yeah, go to a newsstand, buy a good central newsstand will probably have foreign newspapers. We can at least get things like, you know, the big London paper,
Hmm.
but also any major magazines we should be able to get a hold of.
And the papers they don't have will be informative too.
Yes.
If they don't have any newspapers from the United States or our United States, then that indicates that they don't, have a very good relationship, right?
Yep.
Actually, are there any magazines with pictures?
Oh, lots of mostly fashion magazines.
Yeah.
I want to.
Literacy isn't as big of a thing in 1949, so pictures are a big deal.
Yeah, I want to see if. I guess maybe film. If there's, just on the off chance that one of the team 3 members decided to become a celebrity in order to get noticed, to get rescued. I'll just skim through.
Okay, you have pictures
Also,
of
we
them,
should
but
pick up a bad tabloid.
all papers were technically tabloids back then, so
Yeah.
minus the pictures. There's political information, there's farm information, and then there's lies.
Do we recognize the celebrities as historical people that we would know?
There's not a lot of information. You would expect like movie stars, like we knew from the 1940s. Think about who you'd know from them. You don't recognize any of the political people we got to know from that time era. There was references to Chancellor Hitler, King Louis of France, Queen. Oh God, my brain shut off. I have that written down. The King and Queen of Scandinavia, which, as you realize, is a massive nation, a state, as opposed to multiple nations. Okay, so let me give you a rundown of what I have on the political breakdown of 1949. Apparently, from what you read about the SSA, when President Theodore Roosevelt was assassinated, the United States fell into a massive turmoil. And eventually, the progressive Republicans lost their control of the U.S. government, and it all fell to the Dixiecrats who elected President Wilson, which kind of makes sense. It's kind of what happened in our society, except Theodore Roosevelt wasn't killed. But anarchism was a big deal in the early 1900s because his president before him was shot and survived, and Teddy Roosevelt was shot and survived. This time he didn't. He wasn't. He was actually assassinated. Let's see. Because the Dixiecrats are who they are, and Wilson is who he is, they began to enact racist policies to take away rights from non-whites. It became a direct thing in 1912. People began to write about this, martial law was declared, and the military was sent to occupy major cities where they remain today. With voting rights suspended, the 18th Amendment is passed, revoking the 14th, 15th Amendments, and suspending the Bill of Rights until the president decides to reinvoke them. President Wilson is quote-unquote elected president for life in 1916. You can see where this is heading. What Europe is not prepared for this, as you can see from the history, is that the French Revolution never happened, but the monarchy in Europe seems to be stable, and they take care of their people. There are no riots and revolutions. People are fed. They're cared for. The British Commonwealth is actually not as large as it was as we knew in our time period. It used to be a lot smaller and more focused. They're giving countries that wanted their freedom and helping build nations there, as opposed to making them slaves to themselves. So Europe's doing their own thing, and it's kind of ignoring the United States like they were doing at the time. The U.S. suddenly invades Canada, provokes a short war with Britain at the time that Britain cannot win because it's not prepared. It's not the empire that it became when it became a constitutional monarchy. And of course, once emboldened by this, a naval and army invasion of Mexico is won, creating a huge slave protectorate in Mexico. So the SSA, as it's become called later on, now controls what is once Canada and what is once Mexico as one big, massive nation state. In order to calm the people, the federal government amends the Constitution to rename the country the Socialist States of America and makes promises that prosperity will trickle down to all citizens. White middle-class citizens do very well, while the poor whites and his indentured servants and the people of color are put to work pretty much as slave labor throughout the rest of the country. Wilson has a stroke and dies in 1920. There's a massive struggle for power, and eventually Herbert Hoover wrestles control out of that and becomes president for life, and is still current president for life in 1949. Slavery is the primary economic driver in the SSA, exporting raw materials mostly to Japan, the Empire of Brazil, and a whole bunch of African states, taking their money. And even Europe is buying from them sparingly because, well, they don't want to support the SSA, but they need the raw goods. Let's see, what else? The city of New Orleans was burned to the ground in a revolt boosted by anarchists in 1927. It was rebuilt over the next 10 years and renamed Wilson City in honor of the great President Wilson, who died for the SSA, to make it the great, wonderful place it is today, as the statements keep going from their horrible and yet wonderful newspapers.
Well, you were right.
Now well known as a beautiful tourist attraction, it manages a huge import-export setup with many slaves working the ports there. Police and military keep it quiet and safe for white people.
Well, I'm glad I didn't stay around to talk to that cop.
Yeah. Hopefully Team Food didn't end up there somehow.
Wow, that's a lot of information.
Don't ask the historian to write up things about alternate history.
So we don't want to go to there. What was the makeup of Team 3? I forget now.
That was the private detective from New Jersey, the Chinese acrobat, the Russian soldier, the one who found dead in the vehicle,
Mhm.
And the biologist.
So give me the rundown on 20th century history here. Did World War One happen? And then
Oh, World War One did not happen in this world. They don't refer to World War One or World War Two.
that means there's no nukes.
Yeah.
Well,
That you know
Can't-
of.
yeah, you can't say that definitively.
Without a world war, nobody would devote the money to building a nuclear weapon.
Well, I mean, there is still the promise of nuclear power. Has anybody thought about going to the moons? Is that a thing?
That's actually, you don't see anything about that in any kind of library book, or there are thoughts about doing it, but saying the cost is prohibitive. There's nothing there for us to look for. There's still theories of what's even on the moon.
Yeah,
It's made of cheese.
believe.
Jeez.
People say that, and it's thoroughly believed by some people, and it'd be a waste of our money to go there to get strange moon cheese.
Little do
Well,
they know moon cheese is delicious.
Just for reference from other things too, the Empire of Japan seems much like it was from our time period, only pretty much carried over through modern day. They see the SSA as barbarians, pretty much, but they're out. They definitely have an alliance. They work together. They worked together to try and invade China 10 years ago. That was repelled by the Chinese, and supposedly by help from other nations, but no one can prove that was true. China is run by the Chinese Socialist Party, has been since 1921. Definitely far different than China we know in our world. It's a truly socialist state and works to benefit its people without passing judgment on other nations. Southeast Asia, as well as India, are looking at it as a model country for their own. India is not a part of the Commonwealth of the UK, nor a protectorate of Great Britain.
well, this place isn't that bad, except for North America.
The newspapers do talk. You saw in the Look Guide, and there was an article about fears that Japan was planning to invade China yet again, and the SSA and China the SSA and Japan aren't finished with China. and fears that they're going to be a bigger military power with those two countries, and they're going to definitely hurt the world. And it's what's pushed the United States of Europe to form into something like a cohesive alliance. Let's see other data. References about Europe. Russia, France, but France is part of France and Belgium are one country. The Netherlands, Kingdom of Scandinavia, and Austria are still run by their royal houses, but they have done a much better job lifting their people. Yada yada, explained before. Germany consists of the Germany we know as well as Denmark into its Democratic Republic. The Democratic Republic, from what you read about, feels a lot like what the USA should look like and was at its base. And it's believed that they took their model from what the United States was, only they actually followed their constitution and they didn't elect racists to power.
Except for Chancellor Hitler.
Nope.
Does
Chancellor Hitler is widely loved by his people. He's helped enact many good economic policies over the past 5 years he's been in office.
Does he have the little mustache, or did he shave it or grow a full beard?
Still has the mustache. Still definitely him from pictures.
Do Prussia and the Ottoman Empire still exist?
Yes, they do. No, Ottoman Empire is on the outskirts of Europe, and they're not creating any kind of problems as far as we know, and from what we know at the time. That part of the world was not as involved, not involved with current politics, like it was in our world. The Ottoman Empire still does exist, as well as the Empire, Russian Empire. Poland and the Slavic countries are their own separate countries, ruled by their own royalty. I haven't gotten too in depth on those, and hopefully I don't have to.
All right, so all of this is fairly interesting, but none of it helps us figure out where Team 3 is.
Yeah, after the whole day in the library, Sadie is ready to go back through gate number 8 and fight sandworms.
Yeah, I'm kind of of the same opinion. What we need, like, this is all valuable information for us to take back.
Yeah.
And share with home base, but none of it helps us with anything about Chile. I think we're gonna have to go through gate 8.
Well,
are we able to find anything in the library on Chile?
Yep, it's a very small country, and they've recently gave women the right to vote, and otherwise their road systems are garbage. From what you can tell, they don't have the money, nor the support or the economic abilities to actually build the roadways to connect their entire country. Where it's all dirt roads.
Yeah, the Atacama Desert is also just an absolutely huge area.
It's really remote too.
But Argentina is right next door to Chile, and of course is adjacent to the Atacama Desert. Argentina is a really big place, but something that we didn't necessarily do when we were home, but maybe we did. That waterfall is really distinctive, and anybody who's like a person who knows geography, if we could get like a geography expert, they should be able to tell us where that waterfall is, if it exists in our world, in Argentina, or they could at least pick out like a couple of candidates for like these 3 places are the only giant waterfalls like the one you described.
The waterfall isn't in Argentina; it's in Venezuela.
Venezuela. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's at the north end of South America.
I was thinking of the wrong country. But anyway, same deal. Like, we should be able to get some idea where it is. And it may be easier for us to travel from there. I don't know.
You just gotta tie a lot of balloons to our house and then float over there.
I guess traveling through South America is probably really, really hard in 1949.
It's not easy in the modern day, and it's going to be really hard in 1949.
Yeah, we're going to have to go through gate 8, but we'll go through with all of our
with
stuff
gear.
And lots of water and things.
You taking a vehicle through with you?
At least one, if not both.
Yeah,
well, we need motorcycles. You can get around South America on motorcycles and then become a revolutionary.
You know, I feel like, I hate to say this, but I feel like we need to go home again with all this new information And we also have a lot more information about the sand snake worm things. And we need to come back with weapons that the people at home tell us can kill those things.
RPG 7s.
Because once we give them all this information about them, they'll be able to tell us what we need to bring. Giant machine guns on the top of the truck, or rocket launchers, or whatever it is. I don't know. But if we have the right equipment, we won't be in danger. We'll be able to defend ourselves from them. But we just don't have that right now. And I don't see any reason we should go there without that, because the government has everything, and
Hey,
they
Bob.
should
Yeah.
give it to us.
If you spend 5 power,
Mhm.
you can have 5 RPG 7.
Oh. Oh.
That's how you use the fate points to affect reality. You don't have to actually go back and get this shit. You can just
Yeah,
spend
okay,
things
that's fair
and
enough.
ask if you can have it. I will give that to you.
The DM doesn't want us to go home.
When does power
That's just
come?
easier if you don't go home.
When does power
Yes.
come back?
You have to rest. You have to sleep on it. You get 2 points back every hour.
Oh,
you
easy.
sleep.
Okay, 5 points of power to have a case of RPG 7s.
I don't know. Maybe I should have spent all my power on RPGs now.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, I
But
had suggested
it may cost you more power to get it next time.
I had
And you'll-
suggested early that we should have requested some RPG 7s because
So, yeah,
the Russians would give those out like candy.
Well, what'll happen, I guess, is we'll discover that they put them in the truck and we didn't know it.
There you go. Yeah. Hey, where's this? What's
Hey,
this big?
What's
this
this
big
under
box?
this tarp?
What's this big box here? Oh,
You requested them and they brought them. They just never
finally
told you
showed
that they
up.
brought them.
Just a note that says "From Russia with love."
What we're really paying the points for is knowing how to use them.
What
got them
what
licenses
skill
as
is
skill.
that?
That would be. I think it's either grenade. I think it's grenades.
Grenades.
Our rocket launchers are grenades? Grenades are throwing.
Well, it depends. It's
the
a launch delay you can't target.
The G in RPG stands for grenade.
Well, yeah, but throwing a grenade is the throwing skill, but I don't know what
Yeah.
shooting a grenade with a rocket launcher is. Is there a heavy weapon skill or something? I mean, I don't have it.
Yeah, it would be something like that. Hang on a second.
It's not like
All I know is that
it's
they
not
give
like
these
we're
things-
sniping with rocket propelled grenades
Well,
here.
rocket launchers, they give them to like recruits in the field, and they have pictograms on them to tell you how to shoot
They give them to guys in caves.
Yeah.
It is technically the artillery skill.
So I feel like they must be easy enough to use that we could figure it
It's
out.
also 60
you can
feet
point
long.
and fire it.
Yeah.
You
The
can point
thing's
and fire
60
it.
feet long. Just got to get close.
That's true. It doesn't feel like it's going to be real hard to hit a 60-foot long giant snake. Great. Well, that's cool. So we'll get. Do we want to get a good night's sleep here in the hotel that we booked, or do we want? I mean, we could just go back through the portal and sleep in the truck or on the platform, I guess. But we could also sleep here.
I mean, sleeping in a nice fluffy bed sounds nice. Also, be interesting to see what gets served for dinner and what gets served for breakfast.
Sure. And dinner is probably now because we've been at this library all day. So we should go home and get our dinner that we paid for.
It's true.
I assume that our hotel room has beds that we can, the three of us, the three ladies are going to sleep in the same room. And we'll just sleep in the same bed if we have to, or if there's 2 beds or whatever.
Oh, they booked you with your brother in the same room.
Oh, that's fine too. That's fine too. I just don't want
to share
anybody.
a bed with Chewie. That's up to you guys.
I assume there's 2 beds if they booked us brother and sister in one room. Oh, that's
Nope.
fine too,
Your
because
brother and sister.
it's the 50s, right?
Yeah.
Families just share beds. It doesn't
Yep.
matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine. Sadie does not care at all because she knows that Chewie won't try anything because she'll break both his arms.
Chewie will be a complete gentleman
Because he
Because
is
he
a
was-
complete gentleman.
because he was
Also,
raised right by his 2 moms.
correct. So, yeah, we'll get a good night of sleep here on an alternate Earth,
Boop, boop, ba-doo.
and then
you-
we'll eat alternate Earth breakfast.
Well, you show up for dinner. You didn't pay for breakfast, but you show up for
Oh.
dinner. There's 4 other guests. Everyone seems rather nice. Karen brings out big plates of food. Oh my God, does it smell good? After eating military food for the past
Yep.
few months, this is a massive step up. All
Are there
home-cooked.
emu eggs?
No. There's a lot of bacon and ham, but real bacon and ham.
Outback bacon.
This planet really likes bacon.
Is there
Who doesn't
bloomin'
like bacon?
onion?
No, not that kind of
Ah.
outback. But they
Great.
you get sort of a lot of pig, potatoes, greens, all stuff you wouldn't expect because you're not used to eating this kind of food. But the quality is really good, actually. Just you're not used to this kind of taste from where you're from. I mean, thick pieces of bacon. Bacon was served back then. Coffee
Excellent.
tastes amazing. Coffee even meets Cassidy standards.
Cassidy drinks crap coffee.
Well, it definitely meets your standards. It's far better.
Cassidy
Just
drinks instant coffee. That's what she drinks.
And you notice at the end of the day, when you get to your rooms, you all feel really tired, really, really, really tired. And you can go to bed if you want. You can stay up and read. You're gonna go out in the city, or you just need a good night's sleep. You've been reading all day, so
I think Cassidy is gonna take some time to like journal, draw some sketches of the dinosaur worms, kind of sort through the information again in her head because it's all a little overwhelming.
okay.
Sadie is a little paranoid in the sense that, like, we're in a strange place. So Sadie's going to stay up at least for a while, until at least after midnight, just kind of like on quote unquote guard duty. And if she feels too tired, she'll give herself a stimulant because she has the first aid kit with her.
And we have 12 cases of no-dos or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
I think Chewie's gonna go to sleep. He's had an exhausting day.
Lola?
I'm not really worried about being tired tomorrow because I expect we're probably just heading home. Or at least back to the platform where we could
Yeah.
rest. But I don't know. I stay up for a while just to see what happens.
Lola?
I guess I think Lola is. I think she'll get some rest. I mean, last time we were out here, we just went quite a long time without resting because, worms and things. She wants her strength in case something weird happens.
Okay. So Lola and Chewie go right to bed. I mean, you're tired as your head hits the pillow and you are out. You haven't fallen asleep this fast ever. Maybe in the food, maybe in the quiet. Better, you're not quite sure, or just pure exhaustion. Sadie and Cassidy do try to stay up. So actually, I'm gonna have you all make some checks for me.
I'm not I'm not trying to stay up like a super long time, just maybe another hour or two kind of thing. Or just enough time to reflect on the day kind of business before going to bed.
All right. Okay, hang on a second. Where is that? You're both gonna make me effort rolls.
Effort. Okay, hopefully I can roll under a 90 this time. Yeah! 25 out of 60.
Okay.
24 out of 80.
All right, you're both able to stay awake, but you feel like you're fighting something. Like you
What was
really
that?
want you were able to stay awake, but you feel like you're fighting something. Well, it's like you've taken no-dos, you just ugh.
I feel like I might have been drugged.
So we just open the window for fresh air, we'll say. And fresh air, and you're right by the ocean, so it's fresh air. You're breathing in, you look out, there's nobody out on the street. Probably 10:30 at night. Streets are empty. Lights are on. Nobody out there.
I don't really know what's normal here.
You don't hear cars. You don't hear horses. It's just dead quiet. Except for Chewie snoring next to you.
All right. I feel very off-brand here. So I'm going to Sadie, I will get her gun out and put it where she can get it, like, under a pillow or someplace like that, not away in the suitcase. And I'll give myself a more powerful stimulant because now I feel like I really need to. And I'm willing to take the fatigue tomorrow because I'm afraid.
I think Cassidy actually was only planning on staying up about this long, so she would probably tidy her things up and go to sleep.
Okay. Just like with Lola and Chewie, once you lay down, you're out. So how long is Sadie gonna stay up?
Sadie's actually what time is it by then?
By the time it's about 11:30 at night. It's been about an hour
All right.
since
Sadie's
you
going
realized.
to she's going to try to wake up Chewie.
Oh, okay. Chewie, why don't you make me an effort roll?
Oh, yeah, I rolled a 96.
You're shaking him, and he's just out snoring away. You can see he's in full REM sleep, but he's just snoring away.
So I guess the question I have for you as a player is, this feels like there's no way that he's not waking up. I'm shaking him. He would wake up no matter how tired he was.
Right. Something's definitely off about that.
All right. All right. I guess I'm gonna get out my med kit and I'm gonna give him a stimulant. I'm gonna give him a shot. I give him the vitamin B that the Hollywood executives give to child stars when they need them to keep working.
Yep.
All right, you give some to Chewie, and you slap him a bit, but he wakes up. So Chewie, you're having this wonderfully calm dream about how nice life is, and you're walking around the street where you're at, living currently with your friends, and you buy some food from a vendor stall, and it's really tasty. You can't remember what it is, but it's really nice.
Oh, so
And
nice.
you feel warm and welcome here.
Oh,
And
so
then something grabs your shoulder and violently shakes you, and you snap out of it, really groggy, and you're looking at Sadie shaking you.
What's going on? Oh,
And you feel the vitamin in your system, like your arms and legs are on fire. Like, whoa!
What'd you do to me? Oh, I was having a dream. Oh, but it was so great. Like, oh, we had this food and it was delicious. And so good. And my mom was there, my auntie was there, and my cousin Guadalupe, he was there. And it was great. What are you doing?
I woke you up because I think somebody gave us a drug and knocked us out. I've been trying to wake you up for like a half an hour.
It doesn't feel like a half hour.
Yeah, it's because you've been asleep, you dummy.
What time is it?
It's like 11:30.
All right. What about
the only way I could wake you up was by giving you a shot. That's why I'm pretty sure that you were drugged.
Okay. So what about the others?
I haven't checked on them yet.
All right. Okay.
But I wanted you awake because I was kind of scared.
Why would somebody drug us?
I don't know.
Nobody knows who we are.
Also,
at that point, you hear some noise from the street.
Shh.
And you hear three guys, definitely three males arguing. But they're talking to each other in English, American English.
Oh.
Come on, we're gonna get late. Let's go around, come on.
Hey, Chewie, do you wonder where the SSA gets their slaves? Because I'm thinking that I have a theory.
Why would they get them?
We'll just see. You look out the window, and there are three guys pulling a wooden cart that has people asleep in the back or dead. You're not quite sure.
Oh shit!
Oh fuck this noise!
And we're gonna end for the night right there. I think is a good place to stop.
That is a great place to stop.
All right. So everyone earns 4 XP for the night.
We're in danger.
We're in danger.
Someone's in danger at least.
We'll see what happens next week when the danger hits out. So don't forget you're on 4 XP for tonight. And I'd like to thank everyone for coming and watching tonight. You guys for playing. This is always fun. I appreciate that so much. So let me get to my extra here. If I can find the page. I've only got like 15 windows open. It's okay. So I'm Mike Leader. I've been your storyteller. I've been your storyteller for this game. Please make sure to check out my link to it, which I'll post in the chat in just a minute, for more information about this game and other projects. Also, make sure to tune into Stolen Fires here on Twitch each week for Dragon Age on Wednesdays, right before us, Public Access on Thursdays, and Blade Runner on Fridays. Players, please tell us who you are and where tonight, as well as any information about what you're working on right now or what you want folks to know. Same order as always.
Hello, I am Chloe. I've been playing Lola, but if you'd like to find me online, you can find me. I go by Chloe Serena for most of my usernames. I have my Instagram, co-host, or Discord if you want to reach out to me. Otherwise, I'm just excited to be playing and to see what happens next time.
I'm Bob, and I don't do social media, so good luck finding me. Have fun.
I'm Brandon. I really am enjoying playing Sadie. She's such a good character. You could probably find me online just by Googling my name, and then you'll find out everything you need to know. But thanks, Mike. This has been terrific. This is such a fun game to explore strange new worlds that are still the same world. This is great.
I am Leslie. I am playing Cassidy. I don't know what she's about right now. She's drugged. That's what's happening. But you can find me at Two Perilous Fail on Instagram, Discord, pretty much everywhere but Twitch, because that's the one place I decided to use a different name. I am, yeah, I'm not very exciting. But this has been a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying it.
Well, thank you guys very much. I appreciate that. One of the best before we end for the night, one of the best things about Fringeworthy is it allows players and GMs to explore alternatives for histories as well as an alternate crazy world, but they haven't gotten the crazy stuff yet. This is relatively normal, which is kind of scary. So that being said, again, thank you guys for attending tonight. Thank you for playing. It's a pleasure. We'll see you all next week. Good night.
Good night.